This is the Son of the Law podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the Son of the Law podcast. I'm your host, Jay Christopher. Joining me in my home tonight are Bryan and Delia Smith. What's up, y'all?
Hello, Chris.
Hi.
We're excited to be here.
Glad to have you here. We have a lot to talk about. Before we jump into our conversation, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Complete Auto Service in Richmond, Missouri, Cutting Edge Landscapes in Lawson, Missouri, and the Lawson Review, your hometown newspaper right here in the 64062. This episode is brought to you by Complete Auto Service Center. If you've ever gone with the cheapest auto repair only to deal with the same problem again, you already know cheap isn't value. At Complete Auto Service Center, value means fixing it right the first time. Every visit includes a full inspection by experienced, certified technicians, plus a clear report that shows what's good, what needs attention right now, and what can wait. That means fewer surprises, smarter decisions, and a vehicle you can actually trust. And they don't waste your time. Your vehicle is inspected the same day, and they contact you quickly so you're never left wondering what's going on or what comes next. I've known Mark and Amanda for years. They've built a shop that treats customers like family, and family that stands behind their work with quality parts and a 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty. So before that small issue turns into a big repair, make Complete Auto Service Center your first call. Visit CompleteASC.com or stop by 718 Woolard Boulevard in Richmond. Complete Auto Service Center. Complete maintenance, complete repairs, complete peace of mind. This episode is brought to you by Cutting Edge Landscapes in Lawson, Missouri. Spring is almost here, and if you're ready for a lawn that actually turns heads this year, now's the time to call Cutting Edge Landscapes. I've trusted them with my own yard, and I can tell you firsthand, the results speak for themselves. Thicker grass, richer color, a lawn that looks professionally cared for because it is. Right now, they're offering a limited time early bird special. When you sign up for all 5 rounds of their professional lawn treatment program, you'll get 50% off aeration or 1 full application absolutely free. It's your choice. And they don't just do lawn treatments. Cutting Edge Landscapes handles everything. Custom landscaping, beautiful hardscapes, sprinkler systems, all completed by licensed professionals who take pride in every detail. With over 40 years serving our community, they've built a reputation for quality work and fair pricing that you can trust. Spring schedules fill up fast, so don't wait. Call Kent and Brandon today, 816-580-3343, or visit callcuttingedge.com. Cutting Edge Landscapes. Your lawn will thank you. This episode is brought to you by the Lawson Review. Since April 8th, 1881, one thing has never stopped in Lawson, Missouri, the local newspaper. From the very first printing of the Lawson Gazette to today's Lawson Review, this is the county's oldest newspaper with uninterrupted publication. Generations have lived it, written it, and read it week after week. The Lawson Review isn't just news. It's school events, local sports, city decisions, community voices, and the stories that may not make the big city headlines, but matter most right here at home. A subscription is just $29 for 1 year or $51 for 2 years. It's an affordable way to support local journalism and stay connected to your community. Contact the Lawson Review at lawsonreview@gmail.com. Visit at 405 North Pennsylvania, Lawson, Missouri, or call 816-296-3412. The Lawson Review, your hometown paper, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Thank you also to all of you for supporting the show. You are why we do this. I say it every week. And what this is all about, message us for merch on Instagram at Son of the Law Podcast, or send me a good old-fashioned Gmail, Son of the Law Podcast at gmail.com. Share the show across all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, your favorite podcast player. The amount of views that I've got versus the amount of subscribers that I've got, it's clear that more people are listening than are subscribed. Hit subscribe, like, and share, please. I never thought I'd say that at 46 years old, but here we are saying things that we never thought we'd say and doing things we never thought we'd do, which you guys are testament to that, right? We're going to get into that.
For sure.
We drop every other Monday at 6 a.m. so that drive to work or never miss Monday workout can be extra special. All right, Bryan and Delia, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Since the news broke that you all were making a very significant and major life change, I have been wanting to talk with you. Bryan, I talked to you a little bit about it, and I'm like, hey, I want to have you on the podcast. You're like, let me have a little bit of time here to actually work through what
God's doing, first of all.
developing rapidly.
Yes.
And so, anyway, a lot has manifested over the last few months, and you guys made some major decisions to sell everything here in the Lawson area and move your entire family to Costa Rica to be 100% full-time missionaries.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leave the town of Lawson and go to the nations.
Yeah. And the just the regular Joe in me goes, oh my gosh, that is huge. That's crazy. How did they try to do that? So having the opportunity to talk with you is super exciting, right? To unpack that, want to see kind of where your heart's at, how these decisions came about. But before we do that, I want to get to know you personally. People will know you from the area. I've known you for about 8 years, I think. Is that about how long you've been?
About right.
Yeah. We've been at the church it's coming up on 8 years here.
That's what I was thinking. Awesome family, very faith-filled, lots of kids, 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was joking about this card here, and I think, Bryan, you have 7 kids, and your lovely wife is the second shortest one in the family,
Right.
I've learned.
For now, we'll
looks
be
like
the shortest.
Looks like a child in the photo, but you guys are a great-looking family, and this is an awesome picture. So we'll maybe get a snap of this, and I can use it as a
Kind of
announcement for the episode. But very invested parents, coaching all forms of activities with your kids, very active ministry leaders, host a lot of stuff at your house, organize and plan a lot of those events, men's, women's ministries, young adults, quizzing, you do it all.
kind of all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bryan, you and I kind of connected before I realized how kind of passionate you were about these organizational things on our church things on an organizational level. I met you as like, hey, this is another corporate guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We connected in leadership in general, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, this guy walks and talks like me. And sometimes I don't know, sometimes that language and lingo is misunderstood in different communities. And so I really appreciated the way you approach things, you organize things and whatnot. So anyway, so all wonderful things. I'd like to share, I'd like for you all to share just a little bit about yourselves, do kind of a quick life story, if possible. Can you tell us a little bit about how you were born, raised, a little bit about your family?
Well, I was born from my mother. That's kind of how I was born. You want to go first? Why don't you go first?
I don't know if I can top that. I was born actually here in Missouri.
Really?
So, yeah.
Whereabouts?
Lee Summit.
Okay.
So, my family me and my brothers were all born here. And then not a Christian family, actually baptized Catholic.
Okay.
But my mom got divorced when I was 5. And my dad actually went to prison, so kind of a crazy upbringing, really. We moved to Arizona with my mom. So me and my brothers, but really my grandparents were involved in making sure we, kind of had the things we needed. So I grew up.
Grandparents in Arizona?
Yes,
or
we all moved. So
Okay.
it was my mom and us kids. My grandparents moved. My grandpa owned grocery stores here. Really? And so then he moved to Arizona and had some grocery stores there.
Okay.
My uncle and his family moved. So it was kind of, all of my grandparents and their kids and grandkids.
Sure.
So we all moved mid-'80s. And pretty crazy upbringing as far as like mom was married and divorced 4 times.
Oh, wow.
A lot of... I think I can look back now and see how God was working. I'm so grateful. But at the time, you don't know. I knew God existed because I was baptized, but that was pretty much it. We kind of went to church maybe, Easter, Christmas.
Yeah, called it the high holidays.
Right. And then at some point we didn't even do that. And so really just grew up in Arizona after I was 5 and just at about 16 actually met Bryan through work.
At work?
Well, technically
Through
we
work?
met through a friend. That's kind of a crazy story actually.
I'd love to hear it. We have nothing but time.
Well, from my side of the story, I had a friend at work that her boyfriend had been shot at a nightclub. He was okay. He was in the hospital, but I was like, well, let's go out to dinner to get your mind off it. I don't know.
Were you shot at a nightclub, Bryan?
He was not.
I wasn't. I
was
was
shot at.
almost shot at the nightclub. Let's just say.
He was there.
I was right next to a guy who did. Yeah.
And so we go out to dinner, and Bryan's there, and thought I was 18 because you had to be 18 to be there.
Of course.
Yep, of course. 18.
And, I think
And you weren't. This is amazing.
I was 16. I know. I don't. This is the problem, right? With sharing these things. Just gloss over things. You just go, I grew up in Arizona. And yeah. But got to know. Then he started working where I worked at Staples.
That was not, that wasn't like on purpose. That was kind of like it happened.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden.
I mean, I think God had it on purpose,
Well,
right?
he did. Yes. I'm just saying, like, the two events.
Don't let your
didn't-
16-year-old date a 21-year-old.
Mamas,
17.
don't let your
Let's
baby.
just-
Wait,
17.
no, it's not the same, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, it was. Yeah, and from my end, like, if we're talking about this story in particular, like, I did go to a nightclub. I was, just
Not Christians, not.
a ruffian doing stuff that ruffians do. They go to nightclubs, they go hang out with their friends, they go dancing.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing a white shirt. I know that for a fact
Okay.
because it was bloody by the time the night was over.
Like an M&M shirt?
No, it's like I don't even remember what it was. It was a collared shirt though.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
I
clubbing
was
scene
kind of
requires
nice,
a nice
nicely
shirt.
dressed. It was. I had a nice kind of colorful on maybe some areas, but white mostly. But yeah, we were going up to the club, and interesting, if you want the details here, but we're walking up, and you got the street that goes in between like the buildings and the parking lot. There's a guy like in handcuffs right there, and he's just locked down by the security guards and stuff. And all of a sudden, we see these guys running out of the nightclub, and they're going to their car. This guy and this girl, and we're like, "What's going on here?" And as we're walking up to the doors, we just all of a sudden hear gunshots from the car. Those people had an argument with this person that was in handcuffs, and they unloaded a full clip on this guy. Then they opened another clip and reloaded. Funny story, that guy didn't get shot once, but 4 other people did. And my best friend who was with me, standing next to me, got shot twice in the chest.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, the first clip unloaded, we didn't know what was going on. Then we dropped to the ground and then waited for the rest. And then the car peeled out. And this was like the first time that I really was like, God is real. Cause I like looked up at the wall, and there's bullet holes all over where I was standing. Like, I was like, I don't understand how I didn't get shot by
But
a
your friend was
bullet.
shot 4 times.
No, he's shot twice.
Oh, twice.
But I looked over, and I'm like, and I told him, I was like, hey, and I looked down, and he's on the ground, and there's blood everywhere. So I'm like, okay, he got shot. So good story, good ending to the story. He's alive.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
married, doing well, has kids.
He's got kids. He's a nurse. So, think about the life change and
Okay.
wanting to help others.
Yeah.
So
Not quite immediately, but
not quite immediately. There were some things that he had to work through and
Yeah.
everything. But at the end of the day, like he's got a life, and he survived. But
So he was the one in the hospital that
Correct.
your friend was
Yes.
telling you about that
her
you were going to visit, and did you all meet in the hospital?
no, so
we just met at dinner.
yeah, her friend was his girlfriend,
Okay.
and she was there with me and him at the time that we were walking in that this all happened. So yeah, so we had a pretty big friend group at the time. So we
Yeah.
decided that we were going to get everybody together and let everybody know kind of what happened and how he's doing, because he was still in the hospital. And then that's when I met her, was actually that night.
But that was just a brief encounter, and then maybe
her
a
friend
month or
came,
two
her
later.
friend said, "Hey, what do you think about Delia?" And I was like, "Oh, she's amazing." And she's like, "Well, I got some news for you. She's not really 18." And I was like, "Okay, no." I'm like, I'm moving on. And then months later, I ended up working at the same place that she did, and I saw her again, and it was like, oh man,
Young love.
Yeah, so she got a little bit older, and we started dating.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we've been married for 23 years and been together for 28.
That's incredible.
It's a good story.
It is. I want to ask you about how you decided to ask her to marry her later, but okay. So you moved, and back to your story, Delia. Moved, 16. That's kind of where you met Bryan.
Yeah.
What happened between 16 and the time that you got married? Just life right there in Arizona the whole time?
Yeah,
Okay.
we were in Arizona the whole time. I mean, we moved in together when I was
turned
18. Well, technically, you moved into my parents' house briefly, but
That's exciting.
right? Just normal.
You guys
Not
have come
normal.
so far.
Yeah.
Normal
right.
stuff, right?
Not in our home, but yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's all good.
Things that we can
Good.
learn about as parents, actually.
Yeah. So, and then we got a house and just were working and going to school. And then we ended up getting married in 2003. So still in
So
Arizona.
we lived together in the house. We played house for 5 years
Okay.
Yeah.
together before we got married.
So getting married wasn't a huge change, right? Like you're already doing life, you're already living together. I don't know. So not,
did-
not Christians up to this
We did
point,
wait
for
to have
sure.
kids till after we were married.
I mean, yeah.
Very
There's
cool.
that. Yeah.
Brian, you want to start how you were born and raised and how?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Phoenix, actually.
Okay.
I lived there for the first 30 plus years of my life, and just grew up in central Phoenix, kind of all around that. Actually, Phoenix, we moved quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's kind of similar with me and Delia is our upbringing. I have siblings and 2 sisters, 1 brother, and my mother ended up marrying multiple men. I think she had 3 marriages. She had 3 marriages, and
All divorced.
all divorces. Yeah. So we both come from like a lot of divorces in our family, but never got to meet my real father, my biological father. He left before I was born. So didn't really have the dad side of things growing up. And then, stepfathers and different things that happen along the way. Just not the best way to grow up, not to have the right father figure growing up. And, but just kind of had to learn how to do things on my own and just learn. I think that's the one thing that's interesting about our life. We just kind of had to learn the hard way with a lot of things kind of growing up,
Okay.
just trying to figure things out
Yeah.
more than anything. And
Yeah, no modeling. So just figuring out as you go.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Or
we
bad modeling, I guess. I don't know.
had some good people. My grandmother was great in my life. She was kind of there when, through the thick and thin of things, which was
Invested
great.
in you, believed in you.
Yeah. When you need to feel love from someone, I think I truly feel the love from my grandmother for sure.
I think that's also, though, just to say, I think surrounded by divorce, even both of our grandparents married and divorced multiple times. So parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles. I don't think we have anybody in our family that's, no longevity in marriage.
That is remarkable and peculiar
Yeah.
that you would break that cycle the way that you have. Because 23 years together is extremely significant.
We were
based
on
on
track to keep that record going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our story wasn't looking different for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't. So, it's just kind of catching up to where she's at. I kind of moved out and went to college briefly, kind of screwed that up and everything. Just kind of got into retail, and that's kind of when I started to understand customer experience and what it takes to be a leader, and how to be a people person and kind of dig in there and understand all of that. and just kind of started my career. I'm like, well, I don't really have much to do other than kind of pursue this and see where it goes in life, you know. And at that point, we were together as a home, and I wanted to be the man of the house and, you know, pay for the mortgage and things like that, you know. So just kind of got serious about what it meant to be responsible in life, you know. I think that's really where responsibility started to take hold.
Yeah.
Was that,
Yeah.
you know.
And then you were married?
And then we got married in 2003 together. Yeah, it was a year later that we had Jackson.
Jackson
in 2004.
Was, 2004.
And then just kind of had kids every 2 years after that. But there was that breaking point, you know, 5 years after we were married.
Yeah. Can you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know,
We're not. This is all unscripted, so it's like, we can talk about it or not. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to talk about it.
I think it's the how I came to Christ, and then you know,
I mean, it is the moment that shifted everything for our lives. You know, was
Okay. Well, we should probably talk about that then.
yeah. I mean, how we got where we are. It's
kind
a
of our
pivotal
testimony.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
So we were. This is fun. So I'm pregnant with Riley, our second, and we had just had a house built in a neighborhood. So we move in about a month before Riley's born. So this is late 2006. And I meet our new neighbor, and she is the most joyful person I've ever met. And I remember telling Bryan, can't be friends with her. She's just too cheery.
Like too much.
There's something going on there. Yeah.
I can't trust somebody who's so happy.
Yeah. And then ended up becoming a dear friend. Loved Jesus. Had a strong marriage. All of her kids, her youngest, she had 3 kids. Her youngest was a year older than our oldest, Jackson. So she, you know, kind of been there, done that, but was my age. So just had kids young and, you know, wasn't a Christian growing up. So kind of a rough upbringing also. But just her testimony, her watching her love her husband, love her children. And here I am. I don't want to end up the way that our parents had, but I don't know how to do that. You know, you feel like you don't want to be where you are, but you don't know how to get anywhere else. And so we kind of had reached a point where we just were not loving each other well. There wasn't, I mean, I don't know that there was any big thing. I think it was just at that point we'd been together for coming up on 10 years. And I'm pregnant with Logan, and my mom dies. And it just was a lot. And I just felt like our marriage was crumbling and I didn't know what to do. And my friend just really shared the gospel with me and was like, Christ does not desire that your marriage would fail. He does not desire that, you know, families are broken. He loves you. And she'd been sharing Christ with me at that point now I'm pregnant with Logan, so it's about a year and a half later. And
like cramming it down your throat or just like talking with you?
Just I think I was
Lovingly,
hungry for it, and I had
Yeah.
been asking her, and she's funny because she would be like, you would ask me hard questions because theologically I was like, well, wait a minute. What is, you know, I didn't know Jesus. I knew God existed, but I didn't know Jesus. And so I would just ask her really hard questions. And so we come to May of 2008. And so I'm pregnant with Logan. And I had actually asked Bryan to leave. I'd asked him to move out.
I was doing the couch thing
Okay.
for a little bit there.
Couch surfing or sleeping on the couch?
Sleeping on the couch, trying to figure out what the next steps were in our marriage.
Okay.
And it was not looking good.
But I don't think either of us desired a divorce. We just didn't know how to do this.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in that moment, she shared Christ, and it just hit me. And so I just remember I went home and I was reading a Bible. She must have given it to me. I don't even remember where I got it from. But I remember the moment, like reading Ephesians 4:32. I don't know how I ended up there. Like the whole thing's kind of funny because part of it's a blur, but part of it's very clear. And I understood. I knew Christ had died for me. I knew that I needed him.
Wow.
And I accepted him, and it just, it just changed me immediately. I mean, I'm 27, so I'm not, I've lived at least, a lot of life where I'm not living it right. Mm-hmm. And I'm married and I'm a mom. And so it just, there was enough going on that the change was, pretty significant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think maybe Bryan can share from his point of view, but.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit it on the head. When people come to a saving faith in Christ, like the Spirit changes you, like you have a new heart, right? So you get regenerative, and to see that unfold in Delia before my eyes. I mean, there was this moment of salvation, and then, hey, I want you don't need to sleep on the couch anymore. Like, I'm sorry for everything. Will you please forgive me? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
that's weird.
I'm like,
but yeah, sure, really? I'll come back.
I'm like, yeah, I'll forgive you. I'm like, I'm not asking for like, will you forgive me or anything? Like, I hadn't changed or anything. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes, So, what's interesting is watching. This is how I know that salvation is real. You can share Bible verses. You can watch a preacher preaching. You can go to a Bible study all day long. But the most impactful thing is the love of Christ. Showing the love and seeing somebody radically change before your eyes. This is who I was. This is when Christ happened. And this is who I am now.
Yeah.
In Christ. And Delia was polarizing. In 8 months, to watch her completely become a different person broke me down.
Yeah.
There's this moment of clarity of understanding when I'm the same person as I was and she's not. And we get into an argument and she doesn't respond the same way that she used to. She's just sitting there, with a loving patience that, I don't know, it just wasn't like that before. It got me to the point, I mean, I think I'm like a knucklehead. Like, God smacked me over the head and said, hey, you're being a knucklehead. Like, you're a sinner. Like, recognize your behavior right now. This is wrong. And that broke me down and gave me, and I didn't know this, didn't even care at the time, but she was praying for my salvation, for 8 months. I can still recall, I keep saying, I tell this story all the time, but Seinfeld was on TV back then, and like, hey, pause Seinfeld for a minute. And she'd read me a scripture verse, in the Bible. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But what's happening is like the Holy Spirit was working on breaking down this heart of stone of mine, and to the point where it's softened enough for me to see what the reality is, And so 8 months after she was saved, I gave my life to Christ as well. And we became, an equally yoked, couple in marriage, which was fantastic. Best thing that ever happened to us.
Fascinating. So then your 3 kids be married for 5 years and now trying to figure out new faith.
Let's go to church. Yeah. Let's figure this stuff out. You know? Yeah.
And just proceeded to develop in discipleship from there.
Yeah. We just, it didn't take long for us that God was calling us out to California, actually.
Okay.
So we ended up uprooting our life in Arizona for the first time. It's funny.
Like
so
3 months after. No, I mean, like actually right as you became a believer.
It wasn't very long after that.
Yeah.
And it was the one place that we said to ourselves we would never want to go.
Really?
Like,
not truly. At one point, Bryan had been offered a job in California. I was like, I'm never going to California. Which there's been a lot of nevers that have at this point now.
Sure. Never say never.
Uh-huh. I need to figure that out because apparently I haven't learned that lesson.
Curious.
Because I said I will never, I said I will never live in California. And then here, the first thing, big, I don't know if trial's the right word, but a big offer. You're uprooting yourself with 3 kids. And then actually I was pregnant with Avery. So it was about a year after he came to Christ. And Avery came a lot quicker than we intended because they're only 18 months apart. So I'm pregnant with Avery and we're moving. So I think 32 weeks pregnant. But I said never California, and he gets this job offer, and I'm like, oh well, I mean,
guess we're going to
submissive
California.
wife and love your husband, and he's got the job and he's providing, and so we're going to California.
Okay.
Yeah. And it
LA
was,
area?
yeah, north of LA, just a couple of valleys north in Santa Clarita Valley area, up there by Six Flags, the Magic Mountain, not too far from there. And it was kind of a thing where our first faith challenge, ultimately, we were going to go somewhere that we didn't know anybody at all, like no friends, no family, no nothing. So it was rely on our relationship with God, and it was a new relationship.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out. Okay. And it definitely had its loneliness time. We're trying to figure out what church to go to, and took like 6 months to find.
That was actually kind of crazy, I feel like, because this was 2010.
Yes.
And websites aren't what they are now. So you just go to a church figuring it out on the fly.
Show up and ask a few questions and listen.
Yeah. Showing up with 4 kids, we got to the point where we're like, okay, you go and then you come back. Because we had a couple that were like, we went to the church and we're like, we need to get out of here. This is a little bit crazy. So
there was stuff.
Yeah.
When you got somebody pushing their book more than the scriptures, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I ended up scouting things out, and we just came back to like, hey, where do we feel most at home? And it came back down to a church that we had visited before. And so we went there again.
We visited on a weird week though. They were talking about budget or something.
It was a budget week,
it
was an interesting week to go there for the first time. But when we did come back, it was like, oh yeah, this is where we're going to go. And it was, I would say that, and it was Crossroads Community Church out there in Valencia. And I will say that is where I learned what it means to serve in ministry. Like, I can recall walking down the hallway, and we were pretty new, and a guy grabbed me by the shirt and said, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" And I said, "We're just walking out, And he's like, "Hold on a second, you're staying in here with me." And next thing you know, I'm in a men's group ministry planning meeting. Oh. For the church.
That's how Bryan learned his recruitment tactics.
That's right. Hey, there you go.
Step inside.
That's how
I know that sounded a little creepy the way you.
It was. There was a couple of great guys in that group, and what I loved about it is these guys really truly had heart for discipleship. Let's disciple make, and let's teach this younger generation what it means to walk.
Interesting.
This walk, And so I had my first mentors almost right out of the gate as a Christian.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Men need mentorship. We want it so bad, but it's hard to do because it's a lot of effort.
Sure.
And to see these guys put the effort that they did in me, it was such a blessing in my walk.
So this is 2010 to 2018-ish?
Well, no.
Well, no, let's pause.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dee.
No, I mean, so 2010, we go to California, very beginning of the year, right? And then it's pretty good. I think things are good. Avery's born shortly after.
In Beverly Hills, 90210.
Yeah. And
Seriously?
actually.
Yes. Oh, yeah, she was.
I mean, we didn't know where we were going, and it was just, we had to pick a doctor. And so that wasn't even near where we were. But then we had Bailey while we're there, which is our 5th. And good friends, good church, good job.
Lots of good stuff there.
And then 2012.
Yeah. This is where I made
13, I guess.
It was 13. I made a mistake. You pray for God's will. You pray for the Lord's will, right? Or you rely on your own. And, my boss at the time came up to me and he gave me kind of a proposition. He's like, hey, the Los Angeles market was consolidating. There was 2 districts at the time. And he came to me and he said, hey, we got a regional position or regional district open back in Phoenix, where you're from. I'd like you to come back. That's where he was based out of. I'd like you to come back there and oversee that area. And, but if you don't, then I'm going to have to let somebody else go, like in LA, because you'll keep your position. And so that really bothered me a lot. I was like, okay, I have to make this decision, but I did. I made it.
Well, and you trusted this guy at this point.
I did. I did. I trusted the guy, and he's like, hey, this is going to be big for you, whatever. So instead of staying there and having a friend of mine who was running, he had a family and everything, lose his job, when we could go back to where we were from and have some familiarity there, it didn't seem to me like it was that big of a deal. Like, okay, we'll move back to Phoenix. We've got familiarity there. We'll figure out where to plug in at church, and all that stuff. And I really just made that decision for the fact that I did not want my friend to lose his job.
Yeah. And you move back to Phoenix and everybody's like, who is this stranger that moved back home?
There was a little bit of that probably, I think, for sure, family wise and everything. But job didn't work out.
Oh.
Yeah. I ended up leaving that company in the summertime, which is weird because that happens to be in 2013 summer. The last time I was unemployed than I am right now. I was thinking about it, and I was unemployed for about 5 weeks, and we had just bought a house out there.
Oh my gosh.
And we were in escrow still.
Yeah, it was being built. So.
It was being built, and it was in escrow, and I had lost my job, and it was like, oh, what is happening here? And so I needed to scramble to get another job within 5 weeks in order for us to keep the house that we just custom built, And I did. I got a job, and it's interesting because this was like 2 years at this point of kind of a pain point learning process of, hey,
the whole time back in Arizona.
Yeah. Don't lean on your own understanding. Rest on me and my will for your life. And that was something that I've always remembered. That was a huge mistake in our lives. And we can look back at our lives and see, okay, this was within God's will. This was not in God's will. And these were the learning lessons from that. He always he takes our problems, our mistakes, those kinds of things, and he turns it in for his, for our good, for his good. And so here we are learning how to do better on our finances because the job that I ended up getting was just enough.
Yeah, I think it was $6 more a month than our bills.
Yeah, it was very tight. It was very tight.
And the savings had gone buy the house, buy the things for the house, and then, the 6 weeks of no job. So I think at that point there was maybe a little bit.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we had a really hard time plugging into a good church.
Yeah. Arizona's rough. I heard a statistic a long time ago that it was like the 48th least churched state. I don't know if that's accurate. That's been a long time ago, but I will say our experience there was much different.
It's very
it's a
secular
desert,
out
but I
there
feel like
for
it's
sure.
a desert, as far as, and that's the other thing I think too, West Coast, Arizona, California, compared to here, right? We're in the Bible Belt. So I do think to some degree, our experience anyway, people that are going to church, Arizona, California, you just get people who are I've come to know Christ. You don't get generational, right? You don't really have just people that grow up in the church and they're just coming to church because they've always gone to church.
It's a culture.
Yes. So there it's not. It's just not the culture whatsoever. So it's very different. So coming here was interesting because we're wow, almost everybody goes to church here. But I think finding a good church in Arizona was hard.
It was difficult, but there was this moment in two years, kind of later on down the road here where we were missing that terribly, that church community, that community that we could love on and be a part of and everything. And I think you were the first one that came to me and said, hey, I missed this. I want to go back to California, which was.
Well, I think we were praying very strongly, if it was the Lord's will that we go back to California, that's where we came to, that he would just make that very obvious, very clear.
And then there was an old vice president of the old company that I worked for that I had reached out to check on him and see how he's doing. And he replied back to me and said, I'm doing good and stuff. I'm interviewing for this position in Los Angeles for this company. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I've got a job right now, but my wife and I have been talking about moving back to California as well. It's something that we definitely are highly interested in. And He's like, let me name drop for you. And he did. He name dropped for me. And all of a sudden they're flying me out to Burbank to have an interview.
Oh, sweet.
Which was really cool, actually. I met one of the best bosses I've ever had to work for. His name is Bill, out there in California, and just sat down at a restaurant at Burbank Airport, spent about 2 hours talking about it. And he's like, hey, I don't have a position for you right now, but I got to find a way to get you in the company. So just be patient. Flew back and, 4 weeks went by, 8 weeks went by. And I'm like, I don't think anything's going to happen,
Yeah. Windows closed.
Yeah. Windows closed. And then, 9 weeks later, he calls me and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm making a position for you. I'm going to carve it out, because I told him, it would be nice to go back to our old neighborhood, our old, church and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it was truly like, same exact location pretty much. And now we've got 6 kids because we've had Hadley at this point. So 6 kids, California, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
God provided everything for us to go back.
Awesome.
It was amazing. Yeah. So then we went back, same church, went back there, plugged right back in again. Here's the fun part. When I was kind of in the ministry the first time there, I was all about men's ministry. I told you, kind of tugged me in there and supported that. The guys were excited to have me back. They're like, "Hey, Brian's back."
Ministry.
Well, I was running some of the events and things like
yeah.
that there, not really overseeing the whole thing or anything, but they were excited to have me back. And I was like, my heart's changing for this. Like, I got 6 kids now. My wife loves when we serve together. I love when I serve together with her. I feel like the Holy Spirit's moving us to children's ministry, youth ministry, and that was our next season, was serving together in children's ministry, and met some really great friends there.
And started homeschooling at that point too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the mind shifted from men and some of these other things to family ministries. Mm. So that's where we got our passion for that, and why we served in middle school together at Lawson Baptist, actually.
How did you make your way to Lawson?
So then this just feels crazy, right? Because then 2015, we moved back to California. And then 2017, we loved it. Mm-hmm. We had a great community, great church. I was homeschooling the kids. We loved it. But just felt like, okay, we had been renting in California and we still had our house in Arizona. And so we're like, I think we need to either buy a house here or figure out what we're doing long term. And so back in 2006, we had visited Missouri. Mm-hmm. And a friend got married here. Actually, a friend that grew up here also and then moved to Arizona. We were friends in high school in Arizona. So just coincidentally that we were both born here, and then ended up moving back here to get, met her husband who grew up here. He moved down there briefly, and then they ended up coming back here and being married and staying. So 2006, they're getting married here in Missouri in Smithville. Mm-hmm. And we had driven around, and Brian loved it. Like, he just was like, I want to live out here in the country. Like, this was his dream.
It was my retirement dream. Mm. Like, let's go to the Midwest, get some land, you know, maybe have a fishing pond or something, that kind of thing. Like, eventually that's a nice retirement story,
Yeah.
We got, I guess, the earlier retirement and then swapped it or something. But, so we just start really praying again, like, Lord, if it's your will that we would find a house in California? Is it your will that, so then. Well,
your first choice was Nashville, Tennessee.
I did a spreadsheet and I never did again. And
she
I was
does
like,
spreadsheets.
Yeah. Where can we homeschool? Because you can't everywhere.
List.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, you can't homeschool everywhere, even in the U.S. Like, there's a couple states that you can't, and there's a few states that it's pretty difficult. And we were like, we're still homeschooling.
Fascinating. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a couple of Eastern states that, like, there's 1 or 2 that you just legally cannot, and then some that are just very difficult. Really? Like, make you. You have to go and they have to take certain tests and do certain things, and anyways,
oversight.
Yeah. So, and I'm type A. I like to do things the way you're supposed to. I just don't necessarily want somebody hovering over me saying,
So her number one was Nashville, and my number one was Kansas City.
Okay.
and he won clearly.
Well, of course I won because that's what God wanted. Like we prayed about it and prayed about it. And I'm not even kidding, Chris. Like
It was a crazy.
it was like 2 weeks after we were praying for this, out of the entire country. Like I told my boss, I'm like, we're going to have to go. Like we got to go.
But I think the circumstances, you'd been there less than 2 years and you're not even allowed to leave under 2 years. And his boss endorsed him.
Yeah, there was
like
like a relocation
approved it.
package and stuff like that. You got to pay back and stuff like that. But this is weird. I literally 2 weeks after that, the position that I held in the organization opened up in Kansas City.
Because he didn't want to leave that company. He loved that company. He loved his boss, which wouldn't be his boss at that point. But
Yeah, but it opened up right there. And I was like, if that's not a big door, I don't know what is. And Tilly was even like, well, is this temptation? Like, what's going on here? Like, it happened. It was
wanted to go to Nashville.
It was so easy. Yeah. She's like, I want to go to Nashville. Maybe this is temptation, Brian. Like maybe we
that's
should
always
reconsider
my
this.
fear of like, hold on a minute. Is this the Lord?
Yeah,
or
you're
is
asking
this
for
like,
what you want, and he's giving it to you, but it might be tempting. You might have to go to Nashville. But yeah, it's interesting. My office was right next to my boss's office, and I walked over to his office, and I'm like, it was a Monday morning, and I always checked in with him. We spent some time together every Monday, just hanging out. And I walked in, peeked my head in the door. I'm like, you busy? And he's like, no, come on in. Sit down. And he goes, I know. And I'm like, what do you know? And he goes, I know. You can apply for it. And I was like, what? And he's like, I saw it open. So I applied for it. I still had to interview for it, but not really.
Yeah.
I just had to go through the motions or whatever, but he endorsed the guy out here or whatever. And next thing you know, this is unheard of, but they paid for a second relocation package for our family to come out there.
Wow.
But I think there was just so many circumstances that it was so clear that the Lord was paving the way. Our friends that I had said in 2006, we came here for their wedding, were really our closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were in their wedding. They were our older kids' godparents. We used to do that. We haven't done that at this point, but, and so they were living here in Smithville, and he had actually just been diagnosed with cancer. And so we thought, wow, that's crazy. Like we love them. We don't, get to see them. And, so we just thought it'll be good to be able to be there
And love them.
and,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's beat cancer. I praise the Lord. They're believers, and they've got, 4 amazing
4
kids.
kids, yeah.
And, we don't see them quite as much there in Smithville, but life is crazy. But it was just great. I think all the things just kind of lined up. But then Lawson, I mean, we went to Smithville and rented for a couple of years.
For 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
we were out there. Went to a Grace Community out there in Smithville, good church. And just kind of we ended up in Antioch in Gladstone, but just moving to Lawson 2 years. 2 years later, we still had the house in Phoenix that we had built, and we had those friends living in it for 2 years renting.
The whole time
The whole time in California too.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 years renting, and they ended up not buying the house. They wanted to, but they ended up not buying it. So we were kind of stuck with that and the rent out here, and just trying to figure things out. And God blessed us and was able to provide for us through that process of getting rid of that house. But it enabled us to move to Lawson.
Well, and Lawson we didn't know Lawson. I mean, it's just a small rural town, and it was technically further than we were wanting to be, but just a God thing, I think, right? Like we just prayed and
Yeah.
we looked at it.
We don't like. Do you really want to drive more than 30 minutes to get to church, kind of thing?
Yeah, because at the time we were at Antioch.
It's kind of a challenge to live outside of the community with which you serve.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we hadn't been in a small town. We lived more rurally, but not small town.
And we love it, by the way.
Well, there are many people who would define a small town as a town of about 100,000. So Lawson is a town of 2,000. That's a very small town.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
is that how you define small town?
Yeah, I think 100,000 doesn't sound that small to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
This just seemed like a very small town to me.
It is. It's great.
It was about as far out as we wanted to go from the city.
Well, and we looked at the house that we ended up buying, and we were like, no, this isn't the right house. But then
we did not want to buy that house when we first got there.
But then a few months later.
Well, the land was amazing. I mean, the guy who was selling the house sold me on it. Like the land was beautiful, everything that he talked about, the stories and everything. And, Watkins Mill's right across the street. So, your neighbors are spread out a little bit and you don't have anything there but nature, coming into your yard. It's a beautiful spot, but with our family and just the way that the house was, we had to figure out how it would work for our family.
Sure.
And it wasn't going to work without some remodeling.
Yeah, because it was 3-bedroom when we bought it, but it had like a non-conforming bedroom in the basement. So, we ended up feeling like it was right.
We felt like that was the right call. I think we put a couple offers down in Kearney, but just knowing that those fell through or people overbid, and things like that, it just made this house made the most sense at that point, And I'm glad God sometimes knows what
sometimes
he knows what. Well, I'm just saying he always knows better than us. Yeah. But I'm just saying we didn't understand what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Takes a minute. Takes a minute to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we picked up where I met you, right? And you've been here now for, like I said, 8-ish years and living that dream. And now you've moved into this new direction. We spent a long time talking about that, which was great. I normally ask people something that people wouldn't know or would be surprised to discover. And you guys revealed so much. We're just going to leave it there. I don't want to miss the rapid fire questions, though. Do you have some time for that? We'll do some real fast rapid fires.
Sure.
Okay. These are quick. Okay.
Right.
So just go quick. Whatever comes to mind. What's the nastiest kid cleanup story you've got?
Oh, gosh. This is terrible.
Go quick.
My kid had a diaper and I was changing on my lap and literally poop fell out on the floor under the dining table of a friend's house.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us so boldly.
I can't beat that.
Oh,
That's
come on, Bryan. Nothing?
I mean, first kid diaper issues for sure. I mean, right. Just trying to figure that stuff out as a
legitimate.
Kid, as a parent.
It goes everywhere. How did you ask Delia to marry you?
On 9/11.
Oh my God.
Hey, I had it. I had it planned already. I know that there was a tragedy in the morning and everything, but I did ask her to marry me on 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delia, what's the most romantic thing you all have done together?
Wow. I mean, I think just our trips. We've not had that many, as the kids have gotten older, but really our honeymoon was great. And then our trip to Boston for our 20th anniversary.
Boston was amazing together.
I love traveling.
Nantucket, all that fun stuff.
That was our first trip since we'd had kids. So 20 years. Yeah.
20 years. So
yeah. Well, 6 kids, no extended family really much.
Let's just say there was a lot of romance built up there.
Sure. Yeah. That's exciting. We're going to leave that one.
Yeah.
Leave that right there. Set that on the table.
There you go.
We'll come back to it later. What's something men confidently do wrong for years before someone tells them the truth? It's a question for both of you. You can go quick.
Oh my goodness.
That's so hard. Confidently do wrong? Put stuff away?
Okay.
That's not that interesting, but
that's reasonable.
Like in the kitchen,
as a type A person, somebody who's not constantly okay.
I can't tell if they do it on purpose. Like then they don't have to do it. I'm not really sure, but we don't know where things are in the kitchen.
We don't do it on purpose. There's logic in it.
There is,
but it makes you think we're idiots. I understand. Bryan, do you have something to contribute?
I think it's just our expression of our love language to our wives.
Okay.
Like we project our own love language to our wives instead of working on their love language.
Okay. Very actualized comment. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What's the fastest way to ruin a perfectly good day?
Tell somebody to stay calm. Or calm down.
That seems like it's loaded there, Delia. I need you to calm down, Delia.
I don't think he does it very often. Yeah. I think at this point we laugh, but there was a lot of things in the early years that take a long time to.
I think I would agree with you on that one. Like that's got to
So
be
you don't
number
like when I
one.
tell you calm down?
No, calm down. Calm down.
Calm down.
Take a chill pill.
What is something that you are not good at, but it seems like everybody else is good at, and you're a little jealous?
Prayer.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm just being very practical here. Like I can be very simple in prayer and be okay with it. But
All right.
yeah,
I was gonna say like decorating or something like aesthetic. I'm just not. That's not my gift. I don't know.
Okay. I love it.
okay.
What's something you believed strongly as a kid that you would get roasted for saying as an adult?
What are you?
I grew up as a Democrat.
Oh my gosh, that's bold.
I know it
You're not gonna
is.
get roasted for that, though, will you?
I thought you were
I
gonna say
think
like because you
it
believed in
depends, like-
the what's the fuzzy guy in the woods?
Bigfoot?
Yeah, that.
How did you guys know that?
Did
That's
I believe
that's
in-
what she meant? The fuzzy guy in the woods is Bigfoot.
You didn't know what I meant.
I just know what she's
No.
saying.
I thought that.
It could be
This
anybody.
is 28 years of knowing that stuff,
Fuzzy
that
guy in
language.
the
You got to decode
I
Delia.
guess that could be weird. We're living out in the country. Fuzzy
Who's
guy in the
the
woods could be.
fuzzy guy in the woods? All right, I don't know.
I really don't know that I have one for that. Believed as a kid.
That you get roasted for?
I know. I don't know. I think the way I grew up, I've always been very practical and very logical. So I just
So,
don't.
yeah, that's all good.
I mean,
Yeah.
even UFOs, you're not going to get on blast these days with how much
I did not
weird
believe in that
stuff
ever.
there is about that.
They were not real.
Oh, you didn't believe in that. I did
No.
when I was a kid.
What's the hardest personal item you had to sell prior to your departure to Costa Rica?
My freeze dryer. I
Like
to
for
be pre-
freeze
Yes.
drying food?
I will tell you, I am a prepper and I like being prepared. And we don't get to be a prepper anymore, which is fine. The Lord has it all. But
That's-
I'm just
Oh,
saying,
that's- it's bugging you.
like being able to do all the things. And I sold my grain mill, my mixer, like kitchen type stuff.
All of her crunchy
I was
stuff.
going to say the crunchy
The
stuff.
very
Yeah,
crunchy
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
My guns.
Guns.
My
Gun.
guns. Can't take those with you. I mean, you can. It's just very hard.
Right.
Or you'll get arrested.
Yeah.
What is the worst possible item to forget when you're already 45 minutes into a road trip?
Your wallet,
Your wallet.
your Google Map directions. You know, the printed out ones before they had.
I'd say when we were kids, probably the pacifier. Or when the kids were kids, not when we were kids. When our kids were
When we
kids.
had
I just
kids.
think
Oh.
about driving across and doing road trips with the kids. We did so many of those.
When we came in 2006 and you couldn't find Jackson, we couldn't find
was
his pacifier.
terrible.
He had to drive to Walmart at like 11 o'clock at night to buy
get a
a pacifier.
pacifier.
There's a
Yes.
certain kind, a very specific kind that
Yeah.
he would
He
take.
was
He
a
wouldn't
very-
take other kinds.
The Nook?
Yes, and it had to have the
Yes.
flipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't have that one, it was over.
Yeah.
And we did not have that. I had to go drive.
Yes.
It was terrible. So yes, I stand by my pacifier.
Are there any culture considerations in Costa Rica that were a surprise that you're going to have to make significant adjustments to? I have a backstory to this question, but I don't know if we'll talk about it or not.
I think the one for me is that it's very clear out there that if you leave anything out, it's fair game.
They can just take
Like
it.
the petty theft.
There's a lot of theft out there. Like that's kind of the big crime out there. You'll get robbed or whatever. Maybe not get hurt, but you'll get stolen from and robbed. Maybe your car will get broken, whatever that might be. But if you leave it out, or if you put something in your seat in your car and you park your car, there's an expectation that you don't need it anymore, and they will take it.
Like
from
you didn't care enough to take care of this, so I'm entitled to it.
Yeah.
So there's bars in most neighborhoods on windows and on even in your yard. There's like bars up everywhere to kind of give you some protection of some kind. If
Yep.
you have bars and stuff, they'll typically leave that area alone because they know that you know.
A lot of security and like condos and stuff, but there's not much violent crime, mostly gang related, or it's not aimed at general citizens, but just a lot of theft.
Yeah, it's actually safer than America. Actually, the statistics down there
For like injury.
for a lot of the
Yeah.
bigger crime stuff. Yeah, but I thought that was most. It was just the mentality. Like, hey, you left the bike out. It's your fault. I'm
Yeah.
taking this.
Okay.
I think time wise, which we kind of talked about this when we came in, but
Tico time.
If they say they're coming, they might be coming. They might be coming an hour late, 3 hours late. They may not be coming. So
if you need a plumber at 3:00 and they're like, yeah, I'll be there at 3.
Or like inviting people for dinner.
Or dinner. Yeah, that's true.
So you could say dinner's at 6 and they might come at 7:30
or 9
or 9
or not at all.
Or not at all.
And that's, you got to be okay with that.
Generally accepted. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when it comes to like gospel conversations and ministry type things, which I'm sure you'll get into, that'll be an interesting one. I'll follow up with you on that question.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. Why are you doing this? Like, I want to just again recap a bit. About 3 months ago, 4 months ago, you guys decided that you were going to make this transition.
Before May.
No, I think we talked about it. I mean, back in January.
January, February.
We didn't tell everybody right away because we kept it between the two of us praying, kind of figuring it out.
We kept it from our kids for a while.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
What happened that caused you to consider this so seriously? And again, you're just to kind of open the box here of all the realm of possibility. You are an established family in the Midwest with a very good corporate job. Don't need to go into all those details, but people can extrapolate probably what that means on the financial blessing side of things. You have established in a beautiful home in the Midwest, house and property, established family, established church relationships, like for all intensive purposes, this is the dream.
Yeah, his retirement dream, right? The house with the pond, the land, just waiting on grandkids.
Yeah. So the nut I'm trying to crack, right? This onion we're trying to peel, which we're going to take a minute to get there. Clearly, we're an hour in. Is like, why, right? Like, why? How? How did you come to that? What were the initial thoughts? What was the initial call to this? Like how did that start? What was the silvery feeling that led to the consideration that this might be a call for you?
If you love me, you will obey my commandments.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what our Savior says.
Okay.
And it's easier said than done. But I think for me, God was doing a work in my heart and a lever of growth that absolutely needed to happen. And it was studying the scriptures, like truly studying the scriptures, and specifically Jesus' teachings, to be more specific. Matthew chapter 5 through 7, the Sermon on the Mount. A lot of Jesus' teachings there. And simultaneously studying out the book of Philippians. And you start to take account of your life and you start to look at what's really happening. And for all intents and purposes, like God has provided everything.
Yeah.
It's everything in my life was a blessing.
Yeah.
And everything felt perfect, comfortable. It felt right, but it didn't at the same time as I'm reading the scriptures. And, when you're reading the scriptures with the intent of heart change and conviction, things happen. And, when Paul's talking about having the same mind of Christ in Philippians, what does that look like? What was the life of Christ? What did he do? Did he build his kingdom? I mean, did he establish a kingdom of like, hey, Peter's talking about building a tent for him and everything. He's like, no, I don't, that's not what this is about, right?
Yeah.
Not right now or whatever. But I'm looking at my life and I'm looking around and I'm like, I'm kind of establishing my own thing here. Mm-hmm. Yes, I serve in the church. Yes, my family does too. My wife does, and we're knee deep in it. I mean, if I look around, we're serving in a lot of different capacities.
Sure.
And I could list them all off, but that's not the point. The point is am I truly sacrificing for Christ?
That was a question that you had. This was a conviction placed on your heart.
Correct.
This was just a takeaway from a logical conclusion based on reading.
What am I doing with my life in accordance to what Christ says that we should be doing compared to what I am actually doing?
Okay.
And when Paul talks about, in Philippians chapter 2, he talks about working out your salvation with fear and trembling. That hooked me. Mm-hmm. And I tried, it was like, I need to understand what that means, because it's God who does work through you for his good pleasure. And I was like, wow, okay, I could be working out my salvation for the Lord. And what I was seeing was like, what does that look like for his good pleasure? Mm-hmm. Like, what is good pleasure to God? Mm-hmm. What is it? It's obeying his commands and following him, right?
Yeah.
It's that daily sacrifice, or, the living sacrifice that he talks about. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel like I was living sacrificially in that moment. So I'm like, well, what does that even look like? Mm-hmm. Right? So as I'm taking account of my life and seeing what Christ is talking about being salt and light of the world, you don't hide your lampstand and stuff. I got convicted that, number one, I was so blessed and appreciated everything that he gave me. Husband, father, just so blessed. Mm-hmm. Everything was perfect in my life at that point. And we've gone, you heard the road to get there.
Sure.
It's not always been that way, but it is. And it didn't sit right with me. And so I was convicted by the Spirit that we needed to get rid of this stuff.
So you were feeling it first? Or did this
I don't think it was me first necessarily, Chris. What's wonderful about God is he, like, when I approached Delia with this, mm-hmm. Hey, honey, like...
How'd you do that?
I just came to her and said, hey, I need to talk to you.
Which is like, we need to talk as a...
It was a serious moment.
That's my answer to the rapid fire question I had up above. How do you ruin a perfectly good today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We need to talk.
That's another good one. We need to talk.
Yeah. What do we need to talk about? Oh my gosh, I'm on this roller coaster that just went down.
Could be a meteor coming to destroy us, right. Or I lost the keys, whatever, right? But it's like, we need to talk. Like, God is telling me through everything that I'm studying right now that we need to get rid of our kingdom. We need to get rid of everything that we have, sell it all. And I was really scared to have that conversation with her. Like, I was like terrified, like, Spirit's working in me. I'm telling her, we're talking about freeze dryer and, all these things that she's talking about. Grain mill and stuff. Like, we've done a good job of accumulating things.
Sure.
The RV, the UTV, like everything that we had, it was all great and it was a blessing. We used it all, But
I don't know if we used the second air hockey table.
Okay. Yeah, we did not. Okay. So you can see where we're at with this, right? And so I go to her and I'm like, I think we got to sell everything we have. And she looks at me and she goes, okay. And I was like, what? Like, how is that possible?
Did you want me to disagree?
There was just an expectation of a...
Can we
gasp?
Can we take your life up to that point where he came to you with that, and then you tell me how you felt when he said that? Yeah.
So for me, I will say, like, as we're living in Lawson, I love it here.
Yeah.
I love Lawson. I love
this podcast is built on the stories and the people who live here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, it's a place to be loved.
She was trying to figure out son of the law, and then she figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, is it the law, like God's law? And then Red L, Lawson. Anyway,
she figured it out before we got here. You're good.
Yeah. Well, have a look at your coaster there in front of you too.
Yeah.
There you go.
The T in the is a little cross. You can
It is. There you
yeah.
go. See,
Okay.
look at that.
Very
So it's
nice.
little Easter egg.
very
for this
clever.
episode for people, so you can kind of see the whole thing is
Yeah.
built on that.
Awesome. But so, and then the co-op that we're a part of, a homeschool co-op in Smithville, actually, I've been a part of, me and the kids, the entire time we've lived here. So even while we were in Smithville. So that's coming up on 10 years. And I've been a part of the leadership team for 7 of those years. And so, or maybe 8, I don't remember. But like deeply ingrained in our community, right? We have 6 kids, and it's just been really, really good. And meanwhile, I am one of the ways that I've been involved in churches. I've led a women's Bible study in my home for maybe the last 5 years.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I don't know. And I had felt, so when you're leading the Bible study, they will, like the women's ministry leaders will come to you and ask you, oh, are you doing a new one? You want to put it in the bulletin? And I had kind of felt like, oh, I don't want to put it in the bulletin. I like how it is. Like, I like the rapport that we have, and like, it's good. Everybody's comfortable. It feels comfortable.
My precious.
Yeah. And I had realized, like, when I had that feeling in my heart, I was like, oh, that's bad. That's
conviction.
not right. And it's so funny because that you say conviction, because I have gotten to where I'm like, conviction is wonderful. Like, conviction used to feel like, man, like,
Bummer.
like a kind of like a, yeah. And now I'm like, conviction is literally wonderful. Like, it's a blessing. And, I just felt convicted. And so I was like, I said yes with my mouth, but my heart wasn't there. And so I just was like, yes, we're going to open it up. And I just prayed it because I was like, I am having an idol in comfort. I like my comfort. I like things the way that I like them. And I can serve and I can do these things, but I'm comfortable in it. And Bryan said sacrifice. And I just, I think over the course of the last couple of years, God has really been working on my heart to show me that I desire comfort. And that's not necessarily what he's desiring for me.
Sure.
And so that kind of started that. And as the Bible study shifted a little bit, it was wonderful. And I was so blessed by it. And I was so thankful to the Lord, because I was like, this is good. This is right. Like, I know that his way is better than mine, but I was, living it out and seeing it. And I was just becoming more and more convicted on like my comfort level. And then we recently were doing a Bible study on gratitude by Nancy Lee. I don't know if I'm supposed to be
That's fine.
referencing people.
You can totally,
Nancy
yeah.
Lee
It's
DeMoss, Vogelmuth,
publicly
whatever.
available.
Yeah.
Look up the book.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great book, convicting. And just, we talked about a lot of things, and we talked about a couple of the things that came up were like American Christianity and how it's looked at sometimes in other countries, other cultures, as like they don't want to be like American Christians because we're ungrateful. We're just not satisfied. And so that just hit me, and I was like, that's me. Like, I have everything, right? Like, my husband has a wonderful job. He provides for us. Like, he works hard. I don't work. I've been blessed to be able to stay home with our kids. I've been able to homeschool them for the last, whatever it is, 11, 12 years. I don't know. And we're all healthy. And yet anytime I'm not comfortable, I'm annoyed. And that's not right. Like, that's not good. And so I just was really digging into the scriptures and just praying about it and doing this Bible study. And I just had felt a conviction of like, we have built our kingdom. Like, it was funny because it was at the same time as Bryan's having his, and you check in with each other. How was your Bible study, or how was this? And, you'll have little snippets, but you're not always diving deep into it. And so we're having these little conversations.
Which I would recommend that people do more often. We need to do that more often. Dig in a little bit deeper, into our walks.
Yeah.
I think how we're being convicted.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think, and so then when he came to me, I had reached a point where I was like, what am I doing? I'm living for you, but not sacrificially. None of this feels sacrificial.
The word meaningless comes up many times in the book of Ecclesiastes. Did you feel like your life was
the vanity.
meaningless or vanity, like you were chasing the wind? Or was this more of a purposed?
I mean, it felt like we were doing things that were good. But I mean, maybe meaningless is right, because it felt like, because when it came down to it and we started talking about what are we doing, like what people need to know Christ. How are we sharing Christ? Like that's
the driver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing? And so I think, we started, right? Like Bryan came to me and said, I think we need to sell everything. And I was like, yeah, like we do, because
That's amazing.
we like, what is this all for? What are we doing with all this?
I mean, Chris, we know the corporate world, right? We're thinking about what the next step is, working on development plans, all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about, this is how far it got. Like, I know that I got everything that I want, but like, what's the next step?
Yeah.
What's the next bump in pay? What does that mean for what else we can get?
Yeah.
Like, why are we got to make more money to be able to get more stuff?
Yeah.
What's that?
Can I be transparently open?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When I first heard what you guys were doing, my first gut reaction for myself, vicariously through you, was panic.
Yeah.
For the reasons you're describing. Literally, what are they going to do? What about his retirement? What
This
about
is crazy.
the house? What about the like and again, I find this decision to be just absolutely fascinating for this reason, right? Like you guys are eloquently walking through it, and I appreciate it so much. So here you are. You both said we're going to do it. So how does it go from we should do this to getting the legs of we're going to do it? Because I've had some convictions in my life before that have been like, yeah, I need to do something about that. Tell no one. And then 2 days later, it's fine. Nobody knew anyway. And so, I have to live with that. But,
I think when it came down to the fact that we were being called to go, make his name known to the nations, like that's a whole nother thing, right? Because sell everything you got, but then what? Well, now sacrificially live for him in all things, right? So I had, for me, other than the massive prayer that we had to do and fasting and you name it, just put the list up there. I also, I needed to get confirmation. Like I needed somebody else to say, yeah, this is what, I see
that's
that.
reasonable.
So I went to Jesse, and Jesse's been on the podcast twice, I think now here. So, but we sat down and talked, and one of the confirmation pieces was the fact that, I'm like, why does God want us to do this? And you look back, and I always tell everybody, like, our lives have chapters in a book. Like you can go back and I think we've described our lives in ways that you can actually put these pieces together in different chapters of our lives. Even
Ours are easier to see, I think, than most people, right? Moving a bunch of places,
Yeah, there's the California chapter, there's Arizona, there's the,
second California chapter.
So, there's chapters going on, but then there's like pre-marriage without Christ, post-marriage without Christ. Like there's very significant pieces that have happened and taken place throughout our lives.
Sure.
And I look back at Lawson as such an amazing experience for our walk, because he was building us up for this moment. Like the ways that we served in ministry, the ways that we learned and grew, even our children and their gifts and what they've been able to do serving the Lord too. I went into Jesse's office and I told him, I think God's calling us to missionary work, like to go to the nations. And at that point, we had no idea where. But the one thing that I said to him that was kind of that moment was I said, I feel like everybody in our family has a separate component to plant a church. There's the leadership, the teaching, all of that. There is the all of the the children are talented in all sorts of like musical stuff and even serving in things capacities like Bible quizzing and stuff, like different ministries for youth and stuff. Delia is fantastic with hospitality and leading Bible studies and even just the kids ministry stuff. And even administratively, she's amazing. Like she put together our website. I didn't do that. She did that. And she's fantastic at it. I know you used AI.
I don't love AI, but I will
know
just
you used
say
AI.
AI was a
But
key
here's
factor.
Delia and AI using AI together. You'd never think that. But I mean, she's just very talented in so many gifts. And you know, the question is, what's the main purpose of a missionary? And it's to establish the church, to build a church, right? And that was enough confirmation. Like we talked about, he's like, hey, you already said the answer. Like planting the church, you have the components for that. You know, this is absolutely something that you should pursue.
But I don't think it wasn't all feel good and details. Like it's been bumpy.
Am I presenting it like it's feel good?
Well, no, you're just giving the facts, but I mean,
There's plenty of
I think before
roadblocks.
this,
Yeah, I got a couple of pretty nasty questions for you about the bumps.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I don't want to get through this without confronting.
oh
some
yeah,
of
no,
that,
it's
right?
not,
Like,
it would be nice, right? Like just all sunshine and rainbows. That's not how it's been.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think people recognize that there's going to be some of that, right? So if you don't, in some form or fashion, acknowledge the bumps, then you look naive. And
Something,
the
yeah.
conversations I've had with you up to this point, right ahead of coming on the show, is anything but naive, right? You're legitimately pursuing this in a way, right? And so that's kind of like the that's what we're trying to, again, peel the onion
Right,
here to
right.
try to get to that. So how did it actually shift from the idea to the decision?
Well,
I think the first step after we really spent the time praying, fasting, all that, we told the kids before you even talked to Jesse.
yeah,
And telling the kids was hard and kind of crazy.
heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to tell them each one at a time so that we could, you know, address it with them each individually and,
Sure, they're all
and kind
different.
of, yeah.
They are. Yeah.
And let them have time because there's 8 of us, right? And there's 6 kids. And so it can be, I feel like it's a little bit crazy
Except for
sometimes.
Bailey.
Well, no, because Bailey was crazy. We're in the middle of telling Riley, which is our oldest daughter. She's 19. And Bailey's supposed to be in bed. It's 11:30 at night. And we did not intend for this to happen in this manner this late at night, but just the way that things go, I'd rather be in bed at 11:30. We're telling Riley, Bailey's asleep upstairs, or so we thought. She hears us and bursts down the stairs while Riley's trying to work this out
She
herself.
freaked out.
And she goes, "What did you just say?" And she loses it. And within 5 minutes is like, "This is the best thing ever. This is what I wanted to do with my whole life." So she's just a comical little, I mean, she's wonderful.
Just
Everybody
worked
that
out
knows.
through it all.
In
Yeah.
5 minutes.
We thought like, okay, emergency button. Where's the panic button at? Because here's Bailey just freaking out. And then by the time it was done, she's like, "This is the most amazing thing."
I don't think that helped Riley at all either.
No, it didn't. No.
But so telling the kids, which was hard, they each, you know, manage it differently. And I think, you know, and we have 3 adult children. So
Yeah.
the 3 adults saying, okay, they all live at home still, you know, have jobs, or Riley was going to cosmetology school at that time, and she's since graduated. But I think, you know, having the conversation with them, like they are welcome to come, but they need to, you know, pray about this, figure this out for themselves. And I mean, that's a big decision to make for us at, you know, Bryan's going to be 50 this year.
Thank you for that.
Well, yeah, and we were chatting in my driveway, and you had said that this is a call for my wife and me.
That's right.
This is not a call for my adult children.
That's right.
And
yeah.
so it's up to them to make some of their own decisions. And that, I don't know, that was just a powerful, resonating comment.
And at first, we thought that we gave them a fair shot at making that decision.
Well, I think just to be transparent, in the beginning, the first thing I said not first thing, but pretty quickly, I was like, well, I'm not going unless all the kids go. That was because I never all the time.
Yeah,
And
my precious.
yeah. And I'm like, these are our kids and this is our life. And this is hard, but they have to go. And so the Lord just did a work in my heart through that. And
It took a while to kind of go through that process.
It took, I mean, I think telling them was crazy. I think we told them in February, maybe.
It was pretty early, yeah.
And then we sat on it for a couple weeks as a family, and the kids didn't love that because they wanted to tell people, but I think also it was good just to have that time to process ourselves. And we still don't know where we're going. And then he talks to Pastor Jesse, and then,
I'll say that one of the things that still didn't sit well with us when they all said they wanted to come was that we didn't really give them a fair shot to make that decision. It's like, well, what are you going to do here? And Delia and I decided that it would be wise to give them an opportunity to stay on their feet here. So we offered them to kind of give you a year, here's a place, for a year. This is what we'll take care of to help you out. Just kind of find a way to make them feel like they had a true option. Because we're convicted of this.
But that was after going to Costa Rica. That was a whole work that God did, because I think we got to Costa Rica first. So that's
so let's talk about that.
I don't know.
So the next logical step was to go out there. But we didn't get to Costa Rica right away. How did we get there?
I mean, is that where we're going right now? You want us to just keep going?
It's your story. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think we just were like, okay, Lord, we're supposed to go. Where are we going? Right? Like, but I don't know how people pick. You're not just throwing a dart at a dartboard.
Oh, don't tell them that.
You literally could be, though, right? I mean,
you can.
I was going to joke around about that. We just had a map on the wall. We were throwing darts at it and trying to figure it out.
Sometimes, and I've told my kids this, I'm like, sometimes God has a very specific do this, and He has a plan for you that, like, specific college that He's like, and sometimes He's like, I just want your heart, and you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
And just, come to me, and I'm going to shut the door if it's not right, or I'm going to show you, but
sure.
I don't know.
The counterpoint to that is, and recently I had Ben St. Pierre on the show, and he's becoming a very good friend. And it didn't make sense at the time when he said it. I felt too silly to stop him and try to get him to explain it. And then later it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. We were talking about a decision that a family might make if they're in the hospital and deciding a medical treatment to go for their kids. And to your point, you could believe and be right that God has a specific treatment for you, that God would want you to pick option A or option B for the life-saving device. And if you choose option B, there could be a negative consequence. And that's out of line with God's will because of some decision that you made. Or you could genuinely, in your heart of hearts, be pursuing the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and choose option A or B, and it be perfectly in line with God's will. And that shook me to my core later, afterwards, when I was alone and realized, thinking about it in arrears.
Yeah.
And that can be where you are here too, right? So you can throw it at a dartboard, you can be whatever. The goal is to get out there and bring glory and honor to God. So I guess you can do that in Costa Rica. You can do that in wherever. There's just going to be different trials and tribulations associated with wherever you go. That
absolutely.
What do you know? God will prepare you for those too.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you get to Costa Rica?
Spreadsheets. No.
Delia spreadsheets.
Was Nashville a consideration?
Right. I mean,
Nashville, Greece.
Yeah.
Nashville, Greece.
Place?
No, it's not. I don't know. It might be. I don't know. Yeah. It's just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries.
Go to Greece and establish the Church of Nashville.
And Greece.
Nashville Church and Greece. Yeah. No, I mean, technically, yes, spreadsheets, because we were like, we still feel strong about homeschooling. We still have three girls in school.
There was some things that we wanted to make sure that we kept doing.
We want to be safe. We have 6 kids. There's a lot of places you can't. I mean, legally, you're not supposed to be doing that. And with 6 kids, didn't seem right.
I mean, there was places like, interesting statistic, Ireland is 1% Christian.
Evangelical Christian.
So think about that for a minute. 99%. Think about all of the mysticism and some of the other stuff that they got going on there. There's a lot of I would say they're reached, but they're unreached. So, like, we got friends that are going out to Scotland to be missionaries, actually.
Interesting.
And it's kind of a similar prototype out there. But yeah, and so Ireland happened to be stuck on our list for a while, actually, trying to figure out, is it a European thing? But Central America kept coming up because very similar structure and format as far as, you know, what the needs are down there and stuff. But for adult children coming down there with things like visas and stuff like that, they're very friendly down there in Central America with that stuff. So we actually had like 3 countries that were kind of still on the list that we were looking at. Belize was one of them, which is fully English speaking nation there. Panama was on the list as well, and Costa Rica. And that's kind of what we prayed through. And I think it boiled down to, if the older kids are coming with us, then Costa Rica was.
Well, we were going to pursue it, praying that, you know, God either shuts the door or makes it obvious that this isn't right. And so he started reaching out to ministry organizations.
We kind of landed on the Costa Rica at that point, and I made a lot of phone calls trying to get connected with people, set up meetings and conversations and stuff. And I was able to connect with quite a few people in Costa Rica. So we decided to have a trip down there, seeking to understand with a full open mind of what God was going to do, you know. And that trip didn't go how I would have thought it would have gone in my mind at all.
I mean, I think there were bumps before this because we had told friends at this point, and there's hard conversations, right? There's telling your closest friends and the kids telling their friends. And so there's hard things and some spiritual attack going on with different things in the home. Just crazy stuff, I feel like. And then we go to Costa Rica, right? And like, it seems like Costa Rica.
Tell them about the drive.
Yeah.
From the airport.
I feel like Costa Rica, you know, sometimes you tell people and they're like, oh, I love it there. I've been there. And that was not our experience.
They love the beach.
Yeah.
They love the
tourist attractions.
Stuff. Yeah. And the safety perimeter that's around the resort community.
100%. Yeah. And that was not our experience, which we did not have a bad experience. I think I would now, to just, without giving too much information, I had made a very quick trip to Arizona, family emergency, some stressful stuff that was going on with some family of mine. So I'd had a very long week, and then we head to Costa Rica with very little sleep for basically a week for me. And I will just say, like, I'm generally very practical, logical, but when I do lose it, it's a little bit like a toddler. So, you know.
Would you go so far as to call it a tantrum?
Correct.
That's valid.
That's awesome.
That's valid in this particular situation.
I mean, that's how I describe it. Like, when I melt down, it's pretty quick. It's all of a sudden it hits me and then I'm done. And it's like when you're trying to get your toddler to, I don't know, they don't want to wear pants or something, and it's just silly, and they, you know.
But at the same time, I'm driving on this road that's 2-lane with a bunch of construction everywhere and signs that I don't understand, trying to get us from point A to point B at the same
left
time
side
that
of the
this is
road
happening.
or the right side?
No,
No,
it's
right
the right.
side,
It's
right
the
side,
right.
yeah.
It's just there's motors. If anybody's driven in Costa Rica, they know there's motorcycles and all sorts of things going on.
Well,
And
there's only 5 roads, and they're all poorly made.
there's not just 5 roads.
But I'm being hyperbolic, but still, it's
anyway. But the breakdown was real. Like,
how
are we supposed to live here? I mean, that was like the one thing. Like, that was one statement was, how are we supposed to live here?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was struggling.
This
for
is
sure.
not comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
no,
And
yes.
I mean, I went so far as to admit, I was like, I know I'm tired. I know I'm hungry, because at this point we've traveled. I think we had to be at the airport at 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was early.
And we got there about noon, and then we had to drive for 5 hours to get to our hotel.
Yeah, we went
some
to
of
the wrong. Well, we booked an airport thinking that we were going to be able to connect with somebody in that area, in that region, in that province, and nothing ended up working out up there. So we had to drive all the way from Liberia Airport, which is northwest Costa Rica, all the way down into sort of Central Valley in that area, and it took a while. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think I don't know how you were necessarily feeling in the car. I think it was all hitting me, and it became very real. We weren't there as tourists, right? We're there as this is going to be where we live. And it, you know, just
I'm glad I didn't say you need to chill.
calm down.
Calm
Calm
down.
down.
Calm
I wonder
down.
if you did
Just
say that at all.
stop.
I don't think I did. I just let you have it.
But I think,
Let you have your moment.
you know, it's easy when it's just the two of us for me to have a meltdown.
Yeah. It's hard for a husband to see his wife have a meltdown.
Sure.
You know, it's like, okay, I didn't feel like I dragged her into this. I mean, we're 50-50 on this. I mean, she also was like, yeah, we're supposed to do this, you know, but still we process things differently.
So would you say, and I mean, the question can be for both of you, but would you say that this is one of the hardest things to acknowledge in the transition for you, Delia?
What's the hardest thing?
The actual lifestyle or the transition or
Yeah, I mean,
whatever resulted or whatever caused that emotional reaction?
I think the hardest part is we've moved cross country, right? Like, I mean, moving cross country, you're leaving everything.
We've started
done
over.
that.
Yeah.
But I think this is foreign,
Yeah.
literally. So it's a different language. It's, you know, completely unfamiliar in so many ways. And there's just so much that, I mean, I think you can know something, but then you go through it and you're like, wow, it's hard.
I knew, but I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
We call it type 2 fun.
yeah.
It'll be fun to talk about later, but it's no fun
Not
right
right
now.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so I think the first day was rough. It was a long drive and we get to our hotel and, hotel was cool. It was in the jungle the first night we went, it was on a beach town. And there's monkeys in the trees. And
It was our anniversary week too.
it was,
So that was really cool, celebrating our anniversary doing that. We didn't do anything touristy really, but
I mean, we ate out one night.
we did. We got to eat out. It was good.
But, yeah, we didn't really go to any of the tourists. We didn't get to see a lot of the, you know, cool things down there, which we'll get to do. But, the hotel was neat and we did get rest. And then the next day was better. And then it got better as we were there. And so it just, I mean, and I think we can let our emotions lead us, right? Which is going to get me in trouble when I do that. And that's kind of what I was doing in that moment. But I mean, you know, you also have to work through those too, like hold them up. Is this true? Is this right? And then, you know.
I've heard Josh Howerton say that emotions are designed to put you in motion.
I've heard him say that too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think he's quoting somebody else, so I don't know who, so I'm just giving him the credit or the reference.
Right,
there. Right. So what I hear you saying is the emotional reaction that you made was a reaction out of kind of selfishness and that you don't want to follow that, but like realizing that there's an emotion, you have to do something with that, right? And it caused you to
I think fear.
It forced you to do something with it.
Right.
There's definitely, it exposes the growth that needs to happen within us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of peels back the layers and then said, oh, look at this. Look what I found.
Isn't this fun? Yeah.
Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Do you have a greater fear that you're kind of concerned about acknowledging, or is it separate? Or
Man, I got a bunch of them.
Sure.
But, you know, the one I would say that, you know, guys can make their identity in a lot of things. And I think I get into the trap of, you know, provision, supporting, you know, always working hard to be able to manage the household effectively and that kind of thing. And to give that part up is unique. Like that's a really difficult thing for me.
So you say you're
chip on the shoulder growing up, you know, kind of came from nothing. And, you know, I was always like, we got to keep it because we might not have it, you know, that kind of thing. That mentality.
Extreme poverty. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely
ketchup sandwiches.
I've had that before. So yeah, just not the most. So, you know, the chip on the shoulder was, I'm going to provide, I'm going to have enough, you know, kind of growing up and stuff. And, you know, we had our moments growing up, but most of the time it was very difficult. You know, like I said, my mom was a single mother for quite a few years there in between different fathers. So it was not the most conducive to feeling like you're supported, in a big way.
Sure.
But I wanted to have that for my family. I'm like, okay, I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to put in the effort. I'm going to make money. I'm going to get the stuff that we need, that kind of, and the stuff that we want even. The fear that I have is like, and this is the growth. God always provided. It wasn't me. Mm-hmm. God provided that for me. And he's going to provide for us in a different, unique way. And I need to rest in that. Mm-hmm. And I still struggle with that, even to the point where, my last day at work was last Friday. Mm-hmm. And now I'm a full-time missionary. Weird to say out loud, mm-hmm. but I'm a full-time missionary. And so what am I doing with my time right now to reestablish that mentality of getting support, but through him? It's always been through him. Yeah. It's just a different way now. Yeah. And I need to rest in that he's going to provide. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. I think the other thing is just culturally speaking down there. Mm-hmm. It is different.
What's the language? Do you have any of the basic demographics that you could share of the country?
Yeah. So there's 5.5 million people in Costa Rica. It's the size of West Virginia.
Okay. The whole country is the size of West Virginia.
Yeah. 5.5 million people. And there's over 1 million people go through Costa Rica, the San Jose area every day. So it's a very big transient city. A lot of commerce there, a lot of international trade, a lot of business. Digital nomads tend to gather there. But then you got the local Costa Rican community as well that are trying to make a living for themselves as well. So tourism hasn't necessarily made everything more elevated in San Jose. There's pockets for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because San Jose isn't the main attraction, because it's midland. It's in the middle of the country. It's in the mountains, so it's not the beach towns, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not like the jungle areas or the cloud forests and things like that. Yeah. But it is a Spanish speaking language down there. It's more of a Tico Spanish, so it's a little off Spanish. It was established by Spaniards, so that's the native language there. But what's unique about this country is there's still a lot of English speaking there. 500,000 people speak English as their first language down there, so it's a significant amount. And in San Jose, in that area, there's 350,000 of them. Not to mention the future industry, since tourism is such a big portion of their economy, if you know English too as a Costa Rican, you're going to make more money. So everybody wants to learn English down there.
Well, and they require it in schools now, so English proficiency mm-hmm. as they graduate. So it's now the younger generation, because they've been doing that for 16 years.
Yeah, so 16 to 24-year-olds are all bilingual down there. So there's this huge surge of English speaking down there, which I think makes it easier. It's a softer landing for our family down there, because we don't necessarily need to know everything Spanish right out of the gates. More than likely, we'll be able to connect with somebody that knows a little English. Yeah. It was still hard when we were down there.
Yeah, but it was manageable. Even going and, going to a restaurant or whatever, even if they're not bilingual.
Even when the lady laughed at me.
Yeah.
Hysterically.
Right. Did you say quesadilla?
No, not that. But I was thinking I heard a couple words that I understood, and I didn't clearly. They speak fast. So you got to know that stuff. It's interesting, but the whole, what's great about our ministry, where I see God really moving us to it, is we had some great conversations with these pastors down there, and these churches that are connected down there. And after coming back, what I thought it was going to be is completely different than what the outcome is going to be, and what I'm really seeing is the desperate need for the gospel to be presented in the English language down there. Mm. There's only 7 English churches in the entire country.
Well, and 2
English speaking.
And 2 in San Jose, where there's 350,000 of them native, and then however many speak bilingually. So
think about that, Chris. There's how many churches are in Lawson?
A lot.
A lot.
I mean, probably
5?
8. Yeah.
8.
5 to 8.
Wow.
It's pretty available for you.
Yeah.
But down there, if you're an English speaker, you can go to 2 churches in the entire city, or you can go to 1 out of 7 in the entire country, and that's it. So these guys are overworked, overlabored, underhelped, and they need people to help to spread the gospel and to plant English churches all across these providences. And they all have these goals and visions of doing that. But you also have people that come down there for a year or two, get plugged into the church, and then they leave.
Well, because of the digital nomads and because of the, what is it, where you're, it's just such a big commerce. So they've got people working from all different countries there.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of refugees down there and everything too. It's a melting pot of international. I mean, one of the churches that we established with is International Baptist Church out there. They have over 30 different nationalities that are attending their church currently. Yeah.
And the base language is English in that church?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, because English is a second language in a lot of countries. And then you think a lot of Europe is.
And refugees go there specifically because they know how to speak English and they think they could get a good start there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's a need for the gospel in English, and to not only that, but also to make disciples, to build leadership, to build up pastors from the Costa Rican, community, and to leverage that to reach the unspoken of English. So think about this younger generation of understanding the gospel and being able to teach that to the older generation that doesn't know English,
right?
Even so, it's reaching the nation.
Well, and it's kind of funny because the English-speaking churches have attendees that are Spanish-speaking only, and they have translation services into the Spanish.
And
I
they
just
would
found
choose.
that odd.
They would choose to go to the English church with a translator instead of going to one that doesn't speak English. They prefer that.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a need. There's a desperate need out
But
there.
I think God has confirmed it through multiple things, right? Up to this point, I mean, he'd had his conversation with Pastor Jesse, and then just as our conversations with friends and just little confirmations that, kind of God will give you, as you're going. But then,
most of it was positive.
yeah.
There
Have
were
you had anybody give you the business?
Yeah, Delia. So this is like personal conversation here. There's some frustrations, that not everybody is,
Well, I think I talked to a family member that was like, well, I don't know. And to be fair, we don't have any family members really that are Christians.
Yeah.
So it was, I'm not sure that you should do that, or, well, I guess I get what you're doing. And so, they're concerned about safety, right?
Sure.
And they're concerned about these things that do make sense. It's not like we're not concerned about safety.
Right.
But they're just not understanding because this is a crazy thing. Like, even for us, when we decided to do it, we're like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is not normal.
Well, there's a difference between being crazy, seeming like it's crazy, but actually being very conservative, right? There's some risk involved,
Right.
But that just because you're taking risk doesn't mean it's crazy, right? If that's the case, then people wouldn't invest in the stock market. They wouldn't drive their car.
Yeah.
They wouldn't whatever. There's guardrails that you're putting on this thing.
Absolutely.
But not everybody's going to understand, right? Some people aren't going to climb El Capitan with ropes because that's crazy. And the person climbing is like, look at this rope.
Yeah.
I'm safe.
Yeah. It does boil down to a lack of understanding, I think.
Well, and I think I just keep saying the safest place to be is where God wants you to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
So let's talk about the trepidation there, though, for the friends, the people, family, the well-meaning family members, the well-meaning friends who say, that's crazy, in whatever sense of the term. And, there's some valid reasons that they might feel that way, right? So
Absolutely.
what are you leaving behind, right? There's obviously the house and stuff like that, but what do you feel like you're leaving behind that most people don't realize?
I think a concern for me, which this kind of, when Bryan touched on, when we came back and we talked to the older kids about, helping them to stay. Our oldest son is an electrical apprentice. That's a 5-year program.
2 years in.
So he's, finished his 2nd year. So for him to say, I'm going to go and I'm going to leave this, that's a little bit scary to me. And we just had to be like, okay, if you're for sure you're going to want to go, we have to trust the Lord and his provision over your life and his leading over your life. And then, I mean, what was amazing is he goes in to resign and they said, you just resign and then you can come back.
And start off where you left off.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, that was my prayer specifically, that he would be able to go back at some point.
So there's a fail
You fail safe for him ultimately
yeah.
to some degree.
And
yeah.
if for him, like, to be able to pick up a career that he started and is a good career, if he feels led to come back, that felt like a answered prayer, because it doesn't mean he has to do that.
Right.
But it's nice that that's there, because I thought, okay, we can make this decision, but like our kids are just starting their life.
Right.
Like they're leaving behind. I mean, we're all leaving behind friends and community. That's hard.
That's
the hardest part.
Yeah.
The hardest is the relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, even the night that we had on Sunday night at the church there.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't get to go to that. We were on vacation.
Yeah, yeah. It just you can see like the friendships that we've had at Lawson Baptist Church is some of the best friendships we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been anywhere this long, but also just this feels like as home as we're going to get on earth, right?
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah.
And that was part of that was another thing of like, how at home are we supposed to feel here?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the comfort piece,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you're just constantly fighting discomfort.
Yeah.
Just what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah.
It is a back and forth. There's been like these moments of like, well, are we supposed to really go? Like, cause it's not going it's not going so easy, like houses on the market.
Well, I mean, getting the house on the market was a whole thing.
Yeah. Getting the house on the market, getting ready. When we were called to do this, we were in the middle of a remodel. Like, okay, that remodel was for us and our comfort.
Yeah.
Expanding on what we wanted to have in our house.
Well, and in the week before we were supposed to list, we had the boys' bathroom, which we had just remodeled, flooded. The hot water heater stopped working and had to be replaced. And all the pipes in the new renovation were
warped.
They were bad manufacturing batch, so it had to be. So it was like a whole.
Oh my God.
It just
so
felt
many
like
extra things. Like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
On top
here?
of just the normal list of like, let's do these things.
Things that would make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough.
But just things that you get to a point where you're just laughing because you're like, well, I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you can have joy in them. Whereas,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the good thing, I think one thing that we wanted to do was make sure that we found a way to stay connected with our home here, because this is our home. This is the longest place that we've lived since our first house. And
our kids, like their friends.
Their kids and friends, they've established best friends out here and things of that nature. But when I look at our ministry, and our website has so many ways to stay connected with us. It's not just, I guess it's just not the typical newsletter every month, although you can subscribe to that. But we want to stay connected with people in ways that are not typical missionary type stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Meaningful.
Yeah. Streaming video, live connect. We have the social media thing. Why not use it?
Yeah.
Why not stay connected in that?
What's the time zone?
It's an hour behind, I think, from where we are right now.
Central?
Well,
or,
isn't
Mountain?
the daylight savings thing changing now?
I don't know.
I think that there's some approval to not
It's
do.
an hour or two.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
you're
like backwards
within
one.
Yeah,
within.
that's pretty close.
Yeah. So if we did a live stream at 5 there, it'd be 6 here.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, live streaming, videos, updates, things that we're doing, I think there's enough technology now to stay connected in that regard, where people would respond and comment and even, video back and things of that nature, that, we would be able to truly stay connected to Lawson. I mean, this is our home. So,
And I think leaving behind, like there's funny things that, like, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but I mean, I think there's spices that they don't have. And so like the food is different, like different.
They don't have Amazon. No more packages. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, Amazon is convenient for sure.
They don't have Amazon. Yeah, they do have Walmart. They do have a Walmart there, but yeah, so they do have some stuff.
I think just our comfort and conveniences, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all that. Yeah.
So,
Have you felt in the wake of all this misunderstood? And then have there been other assumptions, or have there been other points of feedback that have been difficult to hear or manage?
I don't think anybody's like approached it with like a slap in the face kind of thing.
no, I feel like
It's been,
the responses have been so encouraging. For
they
the
have
most part.
been. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of it's, like I said earlier, most of it's encouragement.
I also don't know if the type of person that I am, like we have 6 kids, right? And I think a lot of people who have 6 kids are like, when they go places, people are annoyed or whatever. And I think I go about things and I'm not always paying attention to how people are reacting or whatever. And I don't always notice that. So if people are reacting a certain way, I may just not even know.
That sounds like a blessing.
It feels like one, but then I'm sometimes like, do I even know what's actually going on? I don't know.
Right. But I mean, for those listening, right, who have the criticism, right? I mean, I think they can see through this conversation that you're not taking it lightly. I mean, like this is something you're counting the cost. You're going into it eyes open.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we're still going through it. We're still
Yeah.
praying and fasting about decisions and things of that nature and consulting with people.
I mean, not
and-
still fasting since before we went to Costa
yes.
Rica.
Yes, that's true.
But
There's many ways to fast.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But
I just didn't want it to seem like we're fasting.
we're still
40
approaching
days.
it with the, like, this is real. There's been several moments where it's like, this is really happening.
Yeah. It also sounds like it's been hard in certain ways, right? Like things you hadn't considered or whatever. Can we dig into that a little bit more? So like one question I keep coming back to, and I don't really have a good way to finish the question, so I'll just start it with what if. There's so many what ifs that could go so badly, and at the same time there's a counterpoint to all of them, right? Like what if you get down there and something bad happens, right?
Yeah.
The opposite of that is true. What if you get down there and something great happens?
Yeah,
Right? What if you get down there and something bad happens to my kid? Well,
absolutely.
what if I get down there and my kid thrives and flourishes into somebody whom they might not ever be, right? Like I can go either positively or negatively, right? But I think generally when somebody asks the what if question, there's a negative connotation to it. So so let's just jump into that negative. What if it's really hard? How do you envision handling that?
What if it's really hard tomorrow here?
Yeah.
See, and
know?
I almost think I'm anticipating that it's going to be hard.
Okay.
Like, how is it not going to be hard? There will be good things, there will be blessings for sure, but it's going to be hard. We're leaving everything.
Right.
And we're going somewhere where we don't have community, we don't have friends, we don't speak the language, we don't know the culture, the customs. That will be hard.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. So going and knowing it will be hard, but God is good. And when he calls you to do something, he's going to equip you for it. And so we just have to lean
bless
on
the
that.
obedience.
Yeah. It doesn't mean it'll be easy. But he's going to be with us and get us through it. I mean, yeah, you could say, what if something happens to one of your kids, or what if something, some catastrophic disaster? I don't even know. But I think like that's just fear, and it doesn't get you anywhere.
I don't know if I have anything much more to add than what you said. I kind of look at it as even though we have the comfort here and the blessings, like something can happen. you know, and I believe that God is putting us in the situation for future growth and sanctification, whatever that might be, you know, and we can be sanctified here. We can be sanctified in Costa Rica. There is something that he has, and there is a purpose. Our ministry is called Well of Life for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the geography of like the situation that Christ was in when he was going and traveling. He chose to go through Samaria, which most people would not do in that time. They would go around it because they just didn't like each other. There was this cultural indifference there. Actually, it wasn't even a difference. It was kind of a I don't like you, you don't like me. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And instead of going around, he chose to go straight through. And I believe that he had that appointment. It was a divine appointment with that lady at the well. And that was a significant thing. It was a teaching to the disciples. It was an understanding for her. And she ended up, you know, obviously being, being a witness and a testimony, you know, after that event. And it was purposeful. Mm-hmm. And I just can't not think for a second that there's not a purpose and a particular divine appointment or whatever, or many,
right,
that he's got planned for us when we go out there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that as, you know, we're going to meet people right where they're at. We're going to share the gospel with them, the transformative gospel that I saw Delia go through, that I went through, and be living testimonies. And one of the things that I think we're leaving behind here is a testimony of faith. You know, for others. And hopefully it builds people's faith up around the town of Lawson, that God can do anything with you and at any moment. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Love that.
Rest in it.
Love that. What do you hope your children remember about this season? Right? Like you're making this pivotal, you're in this pivotal decision, right? You're processing all these things. We've talked about like what they're thinking about it and kind of like how quickly they process and how everybody's going. Looking back, you know, as they talk about, oh, I remember when my parents made that decision or whatever. What do you hope they take away from that?
I guess I hope that they see what's most important. That God is real, that the relationship that we have with him means something, and that it's something that we're supposed to work out in our life. Like it's not meant to be, you know, guys tend to compartmentalize everything. It's not meant to put God in a box and compartmentalize God in your life as just some time. Yeah, I read my Bible this morning. Yeah, I serve on Wednesday night. You know, these kinds of things. This is supposed to be a relationship, you know, and I hope that they see that worked out in our lives in this season, that we are living for the mission. Matthew 28. It's not only to go make disciples and baptize them, it's also to teach them what we were taught, what Christ taught, and he commands us to do that. And that's something that we should be doing daily. In whatever capacity we can, you know, in our corporate environment, right? You know, I was blessed to have one last call on Friday, and I invited everybody that I could that I felt made an impact in my life at PACO. And it was kind of my swan song there. And I gave the gospel presentation, talked about what I was doing going forward and why I was doing it. And you definitely see the people's eyes just like, what? You know, but we're to live on mission every day in whatever capacity that we have. And everybody can do it differently. Yeah. You know,
that's a good example.
Not everybody's being called to Costa Rica, right? Yeah. To do that. So, you know, figure out what that is in your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good example for your kids too. Okay. Last question about your family. We've got a couple others, but just reflecting on other things. I'll ask you if you have anything you want to share just directly, but, I'd like to talk about your marriage moving forward in this season, right? you talked about the meltdown, right? These things happen, right? You talked about your alignment and how God was kind of individually working together with you on those things. What does your marriage look like in your mind's eye as you move into this new season? I guess I offer out of the perspective of the traditional marriage here in the U.S. is what you've got, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a little different going somewhere else, and you're being married, right? You still get it's the same, but it's not the same, because your environment's just so different. Yeah. So,
how do you think it's going to change?
I don't know. I think a partnership and being your helper. And so it's going to take on we haven't had where he's not been at work, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's at work and I'm homeschooling. He's at home some days, working or whatever. But I think just it's going to be radically different. We're all going to be together more. And I think it's good. It's good. The kids are growing and they're getting older and they need to, have their own lives. This is going to make it a little bit harder for that. But I think as far as like our marriage and, it's supposed to point to Christ, right? Like it's supposed to be a picture of Christ in the church. And so I would hope that whatever we go through, it would just
strengthen,
right?
Get stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect it to be stronger. I love the fact that we've been able to serve together for all the years that we've served together.
Quizzing and youth and recently young adults. That's another thing we're leaving behind. Like we started with the young adult ministry. Bryan's done it for 2 years and I joined him a year ago and we loved that ministry. We loved the Bible quizzing ministry. And so leaving behind some of the ministries, like God's equipped people, he'll take care of it. It's not the not leading it. It's just not being a part of it, not getting to be a part of their lives. And so that's been a really cool.
We'll get to find other unique ways to serve together down in Costa Rica together, Yeah. I think that's the core of our relationship is just being there for one another in that regard. I think serving together as a couple is very strong. Mm-hmm. And I would say that strengthens our marriage for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You get to talk to each other about different perspectives of whatever you're serving in and how that looks and works and just how, the Spirit's moving in her life compared to mine and that and stuff. And when I'm struggling, she could pick me up because she's serving in that, in that capacity. Or when she's struggling, I can do the same thing. So I think serving together has definitely helped in the transition of like, we'll be serving together down there, Yeah. So I think what I'm praying for is that our kids find community down there. Mm. That it's not just
to serve.
And ways to serve, yeah. And I, God will hopefully just open the door for them in service to build that community, But yeah, I guess one of the fears is like there's no community there for them, and they just feel trapped in Costa Rica. You know what I mean? And I think my responsibility, Delia's responsibility, is to make sure that we don't create that environment for them, So it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, we're going, so Avery's 16. She can drive here. She can't drive there. And I don't think we'd want her to drive there. I'm not sure I should be driving there. The driving is interesting. The driving is, they don't drive fast. They're just very close to each other. And I mean, it feels fast because you're so close to everybody. It was kind of cool. I was intentionally paying attention and nobody had a cell phone while they were driving, which was great. They would have died for sure because of how close everything is, but it was kind of cool to see that. But I think they don't have, our kids won't have even the freedom they have here, right? Like Avery can't go drive and they won't, just figuring out where is safe and where can you go. And And I mean, it's mainly safe, but at the same time, you're an American in a foreign country. You're not just going to go. And so there's some adjusting and there's some figuring out to do. And so that I think will be a challenge for sure.
We're going to have to be very intentional when we get there to work on that process.
Yeah.
The integration and being very, very focused on that.
Yeah.
I mean, going down there and thinking that we're going to just be there as Americans is not the right mentality.
Right.
You know, we have to integrate with the culture. We have to learn the language. Like these are things that are absolutely have to happen for us. So we need to go in there with some intentionality of what that looks like.
Yeah. So, I mean, to unpack that a bit, what will you be doing when you're there? You know, like you talked about partnering with other existing ministries that are there. You've talked about obviously presenting, leading studies, you know, so having a similar sort of church experience, although the culture will be different. So what does the daily look like? What's the expectation there? Is it are you going to, and I've seen some people like some friends of ours, they did some ministry work in, I don't think it was Russia. It's like Poland or something. And they went over there and they actually got local jobs, and they were working and then building a church on the side and doing ministry and stuff in their home and everything. You know, there's so many different ways to do the thing. So like what will you be doing?
You can't get a job down in Costa Rica as an American.
Yeah. You can't get a job with a Costa Rican company. So you can work online, which is what I think several of our kids, that's their hope, is that for them, that will occupy some of their time and also give them.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as like the day-to-day, so there's two churches in particular that we're going to be partnering with to get going on our feet there. Two of them, they both have very similar mindsets. The churches that are out there were created from missionary work. And so they're very missions focused. Like that's interesting about the American church. And then outside of America, I think their go-to is missions out there based off of all of our meetings.
Yeah,
and everything.
4 churches that we met with.
Yeah, they were all missions first. So the idea is to build them up and send them out.
Well, and
reaching
the community like in so many ways. And I mean, we're a part of a good church. We reach the community, but I feel like it's
like 10 outreaches, you know, in these churches.
It's consistent. It's happening all the time down there.
Yeah. So there's so the idea is disciple making. And in one of the churches, their main focus is disciple making. So their idea is 4 generations out, you know, one-on-one, build disciples, build leadership skills, build pastoral skills to the Costa Ricans and the English speaking, you know, the expats or the digital nomads or whoever else is out there, and then leverage those to plant churches and to, you know, small group studies, you know, anything like that. The other church is more of a focus on expanding campuses from that church. So very recently, they did a survey with everybody coming to that church, and they surveyed everybody, where are you coming from within Costa Rica to come to this church? 700 members, you know, plus growing. And what they found out was there was 4 different areas that people were really coming from outside of the city. And where there was, I think the bar was 45 people or more.
Yeah, some statistic for church planning.
And so what they did was they chose a little town called Gracia, which is up in the mountains there, to plant their first campus. And so they had people to be able to do that. And they just recently, while we've been out in the States here again, was able to acquire a building. So they're working on building their first campus. But the idea is to continue to expand that English church campus mentality throughout, first of all, the outskirts of the city into the mountain areas that they need. So there's 3 more sites that they want to go into, which will be kind of short term. But ultimately, all of the English churches want to expand to all of the provinces of Costa Rica. So the idea is to establish these campuses, these church plants locally, but then continue to expand through the nation, and then to send people out even internationally.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see the vision of the future of what this looks like. We'll be establishing to help both of these churches to start out. They desperately need family ministries, marriage ministry, the youth and the young adults.
Stuff you're doing here.
Stuff we're doing here, but they don't have workers for to even really build that up.
Right.
It's even hard to get a small group established in family homes and things of that nature just because of the nature of the infrastructure there.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's what we'll be doing on the day-to-day, along with, I mean, it's going to take time to learn the language and things of that nature too. We're going to have to spend time doing that.
Yeah, I think the long term is more of like the
planting.
Like typical missionary things that you think of, like, doing VBSs or I know Bailey would love to have a Bible quizzing ministry down there. And so stuff like that, like finding ways to have ministries that are going to reach the community, to reach people that don't already know Christ, but also somewhat getting established with the churches that are already there so that we can build community, we can get to know people, we can have connections down there. And then that way, it helps us to be able to reach people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, to some degree, I'm still homeschooling the girls. So there's somewhat of our daily lives that are, at least for some of us, that will look somewhat the same, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just other questions. You're, I think, free to share or not share, whatever. Again, I'm just coming at this from a point of curiosity.
Sure. People probably want to know this stuff.
Well, yeah. So again, that's kind of where I get paid meagerly to ask them, ask the questions. How will you sustain yourself there? You're selling everything here, right? Which will come with you sell your house, you got the equity in your house. I don't know what you're doing with your retirement or anything like that, right? I mean, there's different cash pots and reserves and stuff like that. You don't know how long this is going to be. So you don't want to be, I don't know, whatever. At some point, the nest egg, the money runs out.
It will, yeah.
And you're down there and you're trying to do ministry, and then you're also trying to sustain yourself.
Right.
And so how does that happen?
Well, we're going into this with the idea of raising funds, being partners with us.
Okay.
So there is a level of fundraising involved into becoming a missionary. And we've had several, different people come to our church about things like that. And it's weird to fundraise for yourself. I'm really good at fundraising for other people. You want a fall fest in Lawson? I'll get you some free prizes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I've done that for years, and it's pretty darn easy to have those conversations when it's not about you and you needing, personally. So this is a whole new ball game for me to feel comfortable enough to ask other people to help partner with us and support.
Yeah. And are you asking generally? Are you asking openly? Are you asking open-endedly? Are you asking specifically? There's a specific need that we've worked out based off of the circumstances of cost of living and our family and what we're going to be doing with the ministry. And it boiled down to, like, right now, I'll just be transparent with you. We're 10% funded right now. Okay.
On what we're looking to get to be fully funded. We don't necessarily want to spend everything that we've got and then have nothing and then that's it. What do we do now? Kind of thing.
So that's the partnering here, right? That's to say, I believe in the mission. I believe in what they're doing. I can't go personally, but I can help them go and do the work that we know needs done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just met with somebody today and, good relationship. It was a business actually. And I let them know that we were going to be moving and stuff. And she wants to help partner and support us. She's thrilled that we're going out there to do God's work and wants to be a part of that. And that was very encouraging to hear that there are people that want to do that and help us out and just partner with what God's doing with our family. And then what's also, I think part of it is she loves our family, and understands that this is real. This is a real thing. But we are 10% funded right now. And, that means another 90%. But just like I said a couple nights ago, we're looking at about 67 people at $100 a month. And that could be all sorts of different ways, right?
Sure.
I mean, we get some good gifts that reduces the number. If somebody decides that, the Spirit's pulling on them to do more, then that would reduce the number, and then if somebody's only got $5 a month, what a blessing, So I think the thing is like something that's always convicted me is like, we've always wanted to help out missionaries. I mean, that was always in my mind, my calling was to go to the nations by helping missionaries. Let's partner with them. Let's partner with them, give them gifts.
Yeah. Well,
but that's not like it anymore. We're being called to do the work now. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother ball game to ask for, partnerships.
Well, I'm not asking you to do it because I'm asking you the questions. So, how can people do that for you? Like what would be the way for people to partner with you who somebody was listening to the show, they might feel compelled to, jump on this journey with you and whatnot. How would they get a hold of you? How would I guess this is the self-promotion piece.
I guess so. I'll let the technology expert.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think I did create our website very much with AI. It's welloflifeministry.org. And then we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. We did incorporate as a 501c3, so it is tax deductible.
And then are you processing all of those receipts and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually,
how's that work?
I mean, I don't know. This feels like an ad.
I know. There's seriously. I mean, like, this is
there's actually an organization that you can do donations for nonprofits that does it all. And it's crazy. Like the things that I've learned, because I told him I was trying to add a subscribe button to our website, which is all through AI. So I had to get a subscription to a mailing website, because the mailing website manages your subscribers and then you can do the email. So you have to like keep going back and forth and getting this code and putting it in. And I don't know anything about coding, like literally nothing. So I'm just Googling everything or going to the help questions, whatever, but we got it worked out. So, there's a Zephy is the website, and they manage donations for nonprofits, and it automatically will compile your tax deductible receipts at the end of the year and able to send them out. I am compiling it on a spreadsheet because I did accounting.
All about spreadsheets.
Got to do it.
I did accounting, so that's just my bent. I like spreadsheets. I like to.
My oldest daughter's an accountant. Yeah. We know all about you.
There you go.
So yeah.
Very good.
So so it's all organized.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to recognize anybody who does partner with us. We have a way to recognize them as well. And we hope that people do help provide. We know that God's got that and everything, and I think that God's going to come through on that stuff. I really like the partnership. Like, we could really use a lot of prayer. Obviously, you guys heard everything today.
Sure.
There's a lot to be praying about. And most importantly, the people that need to hear about Christ, they're down there right now and they need to hear about Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we would be effective, that we would remain steadfast, and that as a family, we would stay unified. And just our kids, one of those what ifs, like, I mean, just again, being transparent, like one of the what ifs is like, what if we go down there and one of our kids is like, I don't love Christ. Like, what is this all about? You know what I mean? Like one of those, because I've always said, like, my fear as a mom is that my kids will not love the Lord. That's it. Like the way we grew up, what we went through, individually, Bryan and I have been each other's person. Like there's really not been, we have siblings, but we're not close. Like they don't live here. We're not doing life together every day and stuff. There's not really parents, right? Grandparents, any of that. And so our kids, we've tried to just pour into them, make everything about our kids and about Christ. And so I think that would be the what if, right? And the thing is like, I don't have control over any of those what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have control over them here. I don't have control over them there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to just trust him, do what he calls me to do, and then trust him with the result.
Right. It sounds so simple when you put it that way.
Right?
Right.
And then the practice is fun.
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
Like so many things just sound so easy. And
Yeah.
well, we've talked about a lot. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about? That, I mean, trying to prepare for some of these conversations, I need to do a better job of putting notes. Like I need to carry a notebook around because I feel like I had a half a dozen other questions that were bangers, you know what I mean? And then we're here in the chair and I don't know, I feel like I'm leaving something off the table here, so, cause somebody will be like, why didn't you ask him this? Or, whatever. I get some of those comments and it's great because that means people are engaged, but it also means that to perfect this craft, I need to do better. So I just like to open it up for you guys. Like, is there anything that you're passionate about here that we haven't talked about? Is there anything that is like a big gaping hole of the process that you've gone through, what you're anticipating, that we haven't discussed that you think would be worthwhile for folks to hear?
I don't think any. I mean, I think we talked about everything up to this point.
I think there's a lot of logistics that are going into it that we have to still work out. And we basically said our house is on the market. It's not, it's been on the market for 2 weeks.
Somebody wants a great house, buy it. It's awesome.
But we just were praying and we're like, okay, we're just going to pick a date that we're going. The house will sell, but we're leaving August 31st, I think is what
that was one of my questions, right? So you're leaving August 31st.
Yeah.
That's you've already got plane tickets and all that?
No,
we're going to we're going to go drive to Phoenix and see family. And then we're going to drive to California and see some friends in the old church there. I've got some, just kind of on my mentality of like fundraising and things of that nature. One of the things I just want to partner with churches that we love and that we have a relationship with and a good standing with and see if I know that there's people out there that would want to help partner with us through prayer, through a provision, through whatever. And it'll be good to see them as we go down to live in Costa Rica for the rest of our lives, potentially. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're looking at it as a forever, like you got to look at it that way.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Indefinite.
For us.
Indefinite, I think is a better.
It's an indefinite situation. Yeah. So saying goodbyes to people that we love,
But not like we're incapable of coming back briefly. But yeah, I mean, the kids still we have quite a few friends in California that we would like to visit with.
Yeah. And then from there, go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, I think the plan is September 12th to fly out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
We got our last service at Lawson Baptist. We're going to be serving in youth camp this week. Mm-hmm. That's kind of our last ministry focus for the church there.
Yeah. We're all going except Hadley.
Yeah. Everybody's excited for that.
Yeah. That's our oldest two are serving, and then we have 3 teens that are campers. So,
yeah.
Awesome. What would you want to remember in the moments ahead, in the years ahead? The kind of thinking about like burying the time capsule for for anchoring you when things either get difficult or when you reflect on this sort of stuff. Maybe you're like, what would you...
I'll give a tip to the cap to Jesse again.
Okay.
Because we were talking about this and I was like, because he's told the story. He's told his story a couple times, but just the calling to be a pastor, what he was talking about. And I think the key is to remember that we were called to do this. And not that I was just called to this, but God was doing a work in Delia as well, and she was called to this as well.
Well, and the kids, because I'll just say, like, Bailey was so excited. She's wanted to be a missionary. And as a mom, I remember, like, before all of this, because I just thought you go to be a missionary and you're going to die. Like, because that's just, your worst fear as a parent, right? Like,
You're going to go off on your own somewhere and
so
die.
I just would never really feed into that. I would just be like, oh, yeah, that's great. And so now here we are, not going to die. But, she's so overjoyed. But Riley is overjoyed because she's wanted to do this. She was like, well, the timing could be better, which, is funny, like, right. But I mean, I think all of our kids are excited because the 3 adult ones, chose to go and they're sad and there's hard parts, but they're all 6 excited to go.
And we are too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we are thrilled to go. I know that,
but that was a process, right? Because I think it was just outward obedience at first. It really was. It was like, we're feeling called and we're going to do this, but it was hard. Like I just had to continually like lay things at his feet and continually pray and be like, okay, Lord, change my heart because I want what you want for me, but I don't want this yet.
Yeah.
And so now I do want this. I'm still sad. We're still sad to leave. And there's great relationships that we will miss. But I think, we got to have them. We got to have a great chapter here in Lawson. And God has been so faithful and good our whole lives. Like, why would we not go make him known?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great. What I'm taking away from there in brief summary is you were called to this, and why would you not want to go do what he's asked you to do?
Yeah.
100%.
There was a compulsion, was kind of like.
Yeah, exactly. A compulsion.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to leave it there unless you all have something else you'd like to share. Any final closing words of wisdom or advice for listeners?
No, I just think, trust the Lord, pray for his leading, and then you just got to do it.
When you're reading the scriptures, be quiet and listen, and he'll talk to you. That's my advice. It's
good advice. Mm-hmm. Well of Life Ministry. Find them at YouTube at Well of Life Ministries, welloflifeministries.org, welloflife414@gmail.com.
Yep.
And on this beautiful card, you've got a QR code to your website and a QR code to donate. I love it. God bless you guys. And really appreciate you guys taking the time to come in and share your story and open up so transparently, right? I mean, even I think in the faith community, these things are often misunderstood, and you guys have really done a nice job showing a light of the consideration and the process and the path and what it really takes to make some of this stuff happen, to step out in obedience and faith. So appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.
Right thanks for giving us this time, Chris. It was a good conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. This has been the Son of the Law podcast. Have a great night, everybody.